Oh, make America great, like Trump always said. Pro-conservative values from heart to head. Anti-terror, anti-commie, anti-lunacy too. Pro-America, pro-flag, red, white, and true. Standing strong with Israel, hand in hand we fight for freedom and faith under God's own light. Terror's got no place in this world we defend, with our allies in Israel, brothers to the end. Oh, make America great, like Trump always said. Pro-conservative values from heart to head. Anti-terror, anti-commie, anti-lunacy too. Pro-America, pro-flag, red, white, and true. Standing strong with Israel, hand in hand we fight for freedom and faith under God's own light. Saddam's regime crumbled, we brought the light of day. No more hiding in shadows, we paved freedom's way. Trump knew the deal with walls and bold calls, kept the radicals running, built those embassy walls. Our bond with Israel, unbreakable chain against Hamas and hatred. Conservative values from heart to head. Anti-terror, anti-commie, anti-lunacy too. Pro-America, pro-flag, red, white, and true. Standing strong with Israel, hand in hand we fight for freedom and faith under God's own light. No room for the socialists spinning their lies, or the crazies dividing with their wild-eyed cries. We honor our heroes, the ones who gave all for family, for country, answering the call. Trump led the charge with grit and with grace, keeping our nation in its rightful place. From Baghdad to Jerusalem, the eagle soars high, with stars on our banner, touching the sky. We'll never back down, no surrender in sight. Pro-Trump, pro-values, we'll win this fight. It'll make America great, like Trump always said. Pro-conservative values from heart to head. Anti-terror, anti-commie, anti-lunacy too. Pro-America, pro-flag, red, white, and true. Standing strong with Israel, hand in hand we fight for freedom and faith, forever in sight.
Well, dawn broke early on February 28th. Trump gave the word, no more waiting at the gate. U.S. and Israel side by side in the fight, launch them strikes deep into the Iranian night, targeting the mullahs, the prayers and their crew, nuking their nukes before they couldn't brew. Tehran shaking with explosions in the air. Smoke rising high, showing we mean business there. God bless America, land of the free and brave. With Trump at the helm, we're riding the wave. Kicking ass when we must, no apologies here. Iran's regime's done, their end is near. Missiles fly back, but they won't break our steel. U.S. and NATO making the bad guys kneel. Trump's calling the shots, urging folks to rise up. Overthrow the tyrants, fill freedom's cup. Trump's message rings out, your freedom's at hand. To the Iranian people, take back your land. We hit their leader, Supreme and the rest. Joined ops with Israel, putting them to the test. They fight back a while at bases in our ally, but our defenses hold under that Middle East sky. No more hiding threats, no more playing games. Trump's bringing justice in America's name. God bless America, land of the free and brave. With Trump at the helm, we're riding the wave. Kicking ass when we must, no apologies here. Iran's regime done, their end is near. Missiles fly back, but they won't break our steel. U.S. and NATO making the bad guys kneel. Trump's calling the shots, urging folks to rise up. Overthrow the tyrants, fill freedom's cup. From the Gulf to the skies, the world's watching now. Trump standing tall, showing them how. No endless wars, but when push comes to shove, we protect our own with strength from above. Iran's retaliation, just desperate flails, while our forces strike true, tipping the scales. For peace through power, that's the American way. Trump's leading the charge, saving the day. God bless America, land of the free and brave. With Trump at the helm, we're riding the wave. Kicking ass when we must, no apologies here. Iran's regime's done, their end is near. Missiles fly back, but they won't break our steel. U.S. and Israel making the bad guys kneel. Trump's calling the shots, urging folks to rise up. Overthrow the tyrants. Yeah, Trump's America, strong and true. Kicking ass for me and you. God bless the USA and Trump too.
All right. Hello, everybody. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth. My name's Ian, and it's good to see you guys here tonight. Quite a few people already coming in early. I like to see that. Yep, all is well. We're currently right now on Fox News and on Fox Now. We are currently watching the dignified transfer of U.S. Army Sergeant Benjamin Pennington, who is being returned to the United States right now. And so we are watching that on the center left screen. We've got a number of screens up tonight for the Middle East. There has been attacks all day long. It's been going on, planes and everything and missiles. And so we're going to be utilizing the alerts tonight, utilizing that TZOFAR. I'm not even sure if I'm spelling it right or saying it right, but anyway, listen, they put a lot of work into this. That thing works great. It comes up, it's right away, and already twice I've had alerts in Tel Aviv, and 2 minutes later there's bombs dropping, or you can hear popping, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty good. Yeah, and Trump's wearing his ball cap, so watch out. Yeah, I know. boy, it's the tough part. The price for freedom, man. You know, the price for safety, the price. There's always a price. Everything costs money. Everything costs resources. Some things cost blood. That doesn't make it right or good. All right. So anyway, yeah. What else do we got going on? Well, on either side of me here, I have storm chasers up. And we're going to be watching them through the night as well. We've got Corey Gherkin. He's the one on the right. And then on the left, we have Evan Freiberger, Storm Chaser Evan Freiberger. These are both two veterans out there doing their thing. And I'm trying to get exactly where they're at. I believe you can see it. I believe you can see it on. I think he's in Boyce.
There's one thing you need to know
Oh,
if you're looking
shut
to
up.
get a
There's
game.
nothing I need to know. There's nothing I need to know. I think he's in Boyce or something. Anyway, I can't read it on the little screen. All right, so that's what we've got going on tonight. I hope you guys enjoy the show. We're going to be talking about all kinds of different things. Probably one of the bigger stories tonight besides the war. And by the way, when something happens, the moment the alert goes off, I have the ability to pop up the alert screen. And it will automatically zoom in to wherever the alert is. And you will hear the alert audibly on the system here. Okay, so you'll hear it come through. Some of it will be in another language and some of it won't. So we'll just have to deal with what we can get. All right, so there's that. The sound is always on, and I'll turn the box on as soon as I know I need to turn the box on. All right, the other thing we got going on is weather. We've got some pretty bad weather out here, and I have got to go through this and clean it out. It's terrible. Okay, here we go. I'm going to put this up here so that I can find it next time. Okay, so there we go. Here's what we've got going on. This is the area where we have the threat of severe weather tonight. There is one tornado warning on the board. Yep, we got one tornado warning on the board, and there it is right there in the center. It's going to be a tornado warning for the next 27 minutes. And it is currently issued by the National Weather Service at 8:10 in Jackson, Mississippi. And it is for Loudons, Mississippi. The tornado warning remains in effect for southeastern Loudons County. All right, and also they're under a flash flood discussion, a severe thunderstorm warning, and a special weather statement. So this is a really bad storm coming into here. Look at that. We got a hook forming. I can see why they issued the tornado warning. It is just about to move out of the warning box. So they're going to probably issue another tornado warning literally any second now. I expect that to go off. So we'll wait for that. What in the hell is this showing over here? My God. There's always one that will heckle me all night long with the ads. All right. There we go. They just issued another one, but it's not the one I was expecting, I don't think. I guess that was another. Okay, that was this. Okay, I don't know what it was. Shit. Okay, it's only supposed to make that sound for tornado warnings, but for some reason it makes it for other things too, I guess. Since the update on Radar Omega, I'm not as happy with it as I used to be. There's several things that are buggy now that used to work really great. This has moved off into the next. What is this? The next state. Yeah, this has moved into Alabama now. Lots of lightning with this storm. It's gone through Columbus proper, went right over downtown Columbus, and is now on the state line, moving southeast, east-southeast. And it does look like it wants to hook. I'm going to put this in splits so we can take a quick peek at this. On the left, you've got you've got basically the amount of rain. That's the reflectivity. On the right, you have the direction the rain is moving and the speed. That is high res velocity. Okay, so we've got radial velocity on the right. We got high-res reflectivity on the left, and I don't see it here. So see, that's kind of one of those things. It is trying to form a couplet, but it's nothing really defined yet. This is suspicious here. This does look like it's trying to hook up. But I don't see it here necessarily like I see it over there. So we're not seeing a really tight circulation in there, but there is definitely opposing winds within this supercell. So it has everything it needs right now to put down a tornado, although I don't see it as being imminent right this minute. Okay, another alert. Let's see what this is. Oh my God. All right, let's see here. It's tough because I go into split screen and then everything gets weird. This area down here in brown, let me just show you this. This is a mesoscale discussion down here as well, where this up here is more of a flash flood area. So we're kind of watching this area for torrential rainfall, and we're watching this area down here more for a tornado threat. Let's take a look at this Amity City down here. We've got heading towards Franklinton, Bogalusa, you are in line for this too. And this one, in fact, looks like it may be trying to hook up just a little bit. Let's look at this one in split mode. Do we have anything here? Lots of lightning. And not really. I don't really see a couplet there. So definitely some opposing winds in there. If you look close enough, you can see where it's probably spinning up there. It's trying to get its act together. But I don't see a really defined couplet right now. Yes, thank you, Dehydrated Water, and thank you, Neighbor, for moderating. I see that moderation going on there. Thank you very much. People spoofing names of people in here, very typical. Very typical, very childish. Get out of your mom's basement, go get a job, be an entrepreneur, mow some grass. All right, so anyway, that's what we've got here. This is an area here that we do have to watch through the night here, and it's Hattiesburg is right in ground zero, right in the middle. But so far, nothing. There is some rain going to move through later. But we are watching. We do have some cameras in this area that we will be able to resource as these cells approach. So there we go. There's one here. There we go. That's a neat camera there. That's in Columbia, Mississippi. And from the Marion Emergency Management building. So there you go. All right, we will keep an eye on this one. My friend Peggy down here, just inside the warning box. All right, so we're going to keep an eye. This is what we have tonight for weather. It's all right down here in the southeast. It's a Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia night out there. And this is going to move through. Now tomorrow we have a higher chance of severe weather tomorrow. And I think it's important to note where we're at on that, because I'm just going to pull it up so you guys can see it, because it's pretty important. Okay, here we go. Let me just blow this up a little bit and stick you guys in the right mode here. Left screen windowed, and then I gotta turn off the radar omega. There we go. All right, guys, here we go. This is today's severe weather outlook, and you can see that mirrors pretty closely what they're seeing down here, what we've got in the green line here and the brown line. So that this follows along. This is current, okay? And then we're going to go forward a day. Here's the 2-day outlook. Look at this, guys. Tomorrow's going to be a lot busier day out there. Tomorrow's going to be an enhanced risk day. There's 2 areas now. They've added this area down here in Texas just in the last 3 or 4 hours. This area down here in Texas now, in the enhanced risk, 3 out of 5 for tornadoes. That's that's nothing to sneeze at. You need to be careful on these days. And then there's another area up here that's also right there just south of the Great Lakes, and you guys can see all that there. So we're going to have to be careful tomorrow. Tomorrow is a warning day. And then normally we don't see much on the 3-day outlook, but they do have a nice big swath on here. This will intensify as tomorrow comes and goes, because they don't ever put really dramatic things on the 3, 4, or 5-day forecast. Only on the 1 and the 2 normally. This is a lot of yellow for a 3-day forecast, okay? So what that's telling me is they're being very aggressive. The models are being aggressive. And we're probably going to have, not just tomorrow with some severe weather, but I expect to see some 3 or 4 enhancement on this over the next couple of days as it gets closer. So again, tonight not much, but tomorrow an enhanced risk, and then this is the day 3, which would be the day after tomorrow, because they always count this as day 1. And then once we get past that, they're not really showing much, because they never really show anything out that far. That's why when they show this much on a day 3 forecast, that's telling me something. That's telling me that they're relatively sure we are going to have some tornadic activity in this area. And I know I've got 2 or 3 of my regular viewers in this yellow area, and I also know Heath is here in the dark green. And my cabin's in the dark green, and I know I got 3 or 4 other friends up here in the dark green and in the yellow. So there you go. This is going to affect a lot of people. It's going to go all the way from Texas to Pennsylvania. This is, again, not tomorrow, but the next day. Tomorrow is going to be a big day, too. Let me go back and show you. This is tomorrow. Look at this. We've got enhanced risk, 3 out of 5 for tornadoes in the orange areas, and, of course, a lot of the yellow. The yellow, you can actually get some big tornadoes, even with a forecast of 1 or 2. But when you get up into the 3, 4, and 5 range, it's almost a guarantee you're going to get some kind of tornadoes. Let's just hope they're not too bad. Yes, I love thunderstorms. I love tornadoes. I love watching them. I don't like them hurting people, but there's not much you can do with it. Yeah, Heath, the good thing for your home and my home up there is the mountains take care of those tornadoes. By the time you get up into the rugged mountains where our shit is up there, those tornadoes really cannot do any kind of extended damage. It's usually very small. I remember one went through Suches one time about 12 or 13, 14. I don't know, maybe it was like, no, it was more like 20 years ago. I was with a bunch of buddies from the fire station. We were coming up 19, and they were issuing tornado warnings for the counties that we were in. And we were listening when the guy was talking about one in Suches right now, coming through Suches, which is the county south of my, the town in the south part of the same county that I'm in up there. And it came right over us, but we got home okay, and the cabin was okay. But what a night that was. I've done about 10 severe weather overnights up there in the mountains. But yeah, I just love severe weather. I'll stay up all night and watch a lightning storm, and I'll sit there all night long. I can't put it down. It's the most interesting thing. My parents used to hate it. Lightning storm would come. I don't care about the TV. Turn that thing off so it don't blow up. I'm going to go sit by the door. And they hated it because I would sit right inside the glass door and watch the storm. I just loved watching the storm. And if they'd let me, I'd go sit in the car. And you're safe in a car. You're actually just as safe in a car as you are in a house, if not more. I've actually run 4 or 5 cars that have been struck by lightning during all my years in public safety, and the one common thing in every case, the people in the car weren't hurt. It blew up their car, burned up their car, messed up their car, but they weren't hurt. In one case, we had a van struck by lightning. It blew both of the front tires and rims right off the front of the thing, and it blew the radio out of the dashboard and scared these two guys to death. And the van slid to a stop, scraping on the ground because the front two rims and tires were completely blown off. And as it slides to a stop, it's starting to catch on fire. And luckily they had some buckets with some liquid or water or something from the work they do. They were painters or something. And they were able to get the fire out. It destroyed that van. It came down the aerial. You know, how in the old days we used to have an aerial. And it would come down the aerial and it blew out the whole front of that van. So, but even then, the guys weren't hurt. They walked away from it. Every one I've run it's been a car that's been hit by, planes get hit by lightning all the time. It's only when you create the grounding source for the lightning that it really is devastating for humans. Now, secondary, like if you're in the water and it strikes nearby, you could get a shock that could debilitate you and you could drown. It's dangerous. You know, I'm big on lightning safety. I also think these lightning alarms are bullshit. I'm going to be the first to say it, and I'll mention it right now because I mention it every time it comes up, and I just brought it up. So these lightning alerts that we have down here, these goody-goody lawmakers have all decided, hey, look, it's something really cool that we can spend our money on and then tout that we did it. And the truth is, these lightning alarms are an absolute joke. They are an absolute joke. They go off constantly, and now, do you know what they've become? They've become the car alarm. They've literally, you ever notice when you're walking through the parking lot and you hear wee, 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 and the car alarm's going off? Nobody even looks. Nobody even looks. Why? Because car alarms go off all the time, and we've gotten to the point where most people don't even have them anymore, don't even turn them on, or they come built into the car and they're very conservative or reserved in how they work. The point is nobody looks and nobody, so, and it's the same thing here. It gets to the point where it's like white noise and people don't even realize it. And I've noticed that a lot. All right, let's see here. Well, I think they still would have came, because even with the tornadoes, it's better than nothing. You know, it's better than nothing. But anyway, yeah, so I've always had this thing with lightning storms and weather. I've always loved weather. I used to go work our station 2. I used to work up there quite a bit. Anytime I could work up there, because it was up in another county. It was way out in the middle of nowhere. Or at least it used to be out in the middle of nowhere. There's not much out in the middle of nowhere left in Florida. But I would stay at this station during summer because I would love to stay out there because the lightning storms would come through, and we had big power lines that ran right in front of the place. And then beyond that, we had 3 big 1,000-foot towers. One of them owned by my company that I work for now. And that's what Wink TV and 96.9 Wink FM, a 100,000 watt signal coming out of that. And then there's another one there that is WBBH and what used to be Waterman Broadcasting. I don't even know the name of the company now that owns it. And then the third tower up there is a rental deal. There's a bunch of people renting space on it. So I got these 3 big towers right across the street. And I would sit in the bay about 10 feet back from the entrance and just leave the door up. And I would just sit there. There was only one truck and there was 2 doors. So we would sit over in the empty bay and we would pull out our office chairs that we had up there and we would roll them out in the bay and we would sit there and watch the lightning storm. And we would watch lightning hit those towers and we'd watch it hit those power lines. It was kind of amazing. And so I've always loved lightning storms. Even as a child, I just was enamored by them. And so today I study weather. I love the science of weather, and that's kind of where I've ended up with it now. Is it's kind of a study and an interest in weather. And that's turned into me broadcasting the weather. I mean, look at this. I didn't go to 4 years of meteorology school, which is not necessary to tell you what if it's going to rain or not. I didn't go to all that schooling, so I would not be. And I also don't have the face for TV, so the chances are I probably would never get a job doing the weather for you guys at night. But YouTube and the internet and AI and all these other things bring me these opportunities that I would not normally have. This is yet one more creative outlet that has been made possible by older technology and even now coupled with AI. And so I think it's amazing. I love doing this. We've lost our tornado warning. They let it expire. They do still have a severe thunderstorm warning for that one. This is the one that was warned here. And yeah, I don't see a hook anymore. And let's put it in splits. I'm going to put the radio velocity on the right. And we'll see if we've got a couplet. Oh, wait a minute. Hey. Oh! Let's see here, guys. We've got a couplet starting to form up. That's a close rotation right there. You guys see that? That's what they call a couplet. And it's not perfect. It's not well defined, but it is definitely there. And the way this works is green is moving towards the tower site and red is moving away from the tower site. Okay, and what this is showing you right here is you have winds moving in opposite directions that are literally touching each other. See how the red and the green are literally touching? That's what you're looking for on this, is for those to actually be touching like that. And when a couplet becomes more defined, it will begin to look like the yin and the yang, like a red and green yin yang. We've actually seen couplets right on here before, not long ago, that were literally a perfect yin and yang, and the J hook was just perfect. These storms, as they get better organized, they really show those patterns that you see. Now, I don't really see the hook right now, which doesn't really mean anything, but normally there would be a hook right here, and it's probably starting to form back up, but you're going to get a hook, and then you're going to get the couplet, and we do have the couplet here. We definitely do. Let me go back to, let me switch modes here. Let me get out of splits, and let me go, and let me put the main radar in high-res velocity. All right, and now let's look for other radars that would give us another vantage point, because this is actually the radar out of way over here near Pelham. This is way over here, so we're talking a number of miles away. So let's see, is there another? Oh, look, there's one right there. So let's get that radar. Let's get a second opinion. Wow, we do have winds right next to each other, guys. Wouldn't surprise me if any moment now a pink box is going to pop up here, because we literally have winds moving in exact opposite directions all up on each other here. And this looks like a prime candidate to be issuing a tornado warning on. Let's take a little look at this in motion. Let's go back about 21 frames, and let's watch this thing develop. Wow, and it's definitely becoming more defined as it gets together here. They're going to probably issue a tornado warning back on this. It will be tornado warned again, I'm pretty sure. All right, let me check the chat room real quick. All right, hey Dehydrated Water, hey Cherokee George, how you doing tonight? Glad you guys made it. And Rob Vig, how you doing? Glad you guys are here. Neighbor, of course, and Dehydrated Water, Mike and Heath, Comms Prepper, thank you for being here. And thank you guys for moderating. And Dispatch Center, yeah, we're not even sure if that's the real dispatch center or not, but that's okay. It all helps my algorithm, so we'll just look on the bright side. And hey, Melissa is unfollowing me. I wonder why. Anybody have any idea why I would be unfollowed What did I do, Melissa? Unfollowing. Huh. At 9:24, what could I have possibly said at 9:24 that would have got my ass unfollowed? Huh. I don't know. I probably shouldn't worry about it, right? She told me about a radar that Brian Hall is using, and then in the next breath she tells me she's unfollowing me. So I don't know. I don't know what that's all about. I don't know. I think people understand that when I'm working the radar and I'm talking, I'm doing two things. I can't be also reading the chat room. That would be three things. So that's why I stop working on the radar and look at the chat room. I have to do one thing at a time, or two things at a time. But three things at a time is asking a lot of this old man. Hey Jamie, how you doing tonight? And also Red Dot Multimedia. Yeah, cool. Hey, what's up, man? I'm hard with these names, but I try to get them. Hey, Jungle, what's up? Hey, Mark. I think I said hi to everybody. Jamie, I think I've got everybody. Thank you guys all for being here. Okay, well, I'm going to check that app out because I'm paying for Weather Underground. So if this app is better, I will pay for this app. Oh, you know what I mean? But I want something that's good. I can't, you guys see when I work the radar, I want to have something that works well. I like to have all the features, but it's important for me that it has a nice presentation. I do like the fact that they have given us 3D radar now. I mean, to me, this is really cool. And you can actually, when we get a big tornado, it's going to be neat to be able to go back and watch this. Because one of the things you can do is actually put this in motion. Watch this. And you can actually see the storms coming into the watched area. See the purple at the top up there? That's showing you your higher cloud tops as it comes through. I mean, this radar is amazing. I mean, it's absolutely, and for a broadcaster like me that has a smaller channel and is on the internet, I can't afford like what my TV station uses software that costs them thousands of dollars a year, and I can't obviously afford that. But I can afford this. It's like, this is like, I don't know, I think it's $50 a year or something. It's really not that much, and I'll do that because it's worth it to me. I do the same thing with Flight Radar 24 because I got to have something that's not going to glitch out all the time. Speaking of, I want to tell you guys what's going on over on Starship After Dark. As we continue to watch this weather, we will hear alerts go off as they go off, and we will get back to them. Also, if we get an alert out of Iran, you will hear that, and then I will turn it on so you can see what's going on. Yep, here it is right here. Let me rename this. Alert Israel. Okay, there we go. So now I can turn this on at a moment's notice, and bam, you guys have the alert screen and what alerts are coming in, and so I can kill that. And then I can then turn on the radar, and we can switch right into the radar. And then when we're done with that, I can switch back into the scene that's coming in from overseas. So there we go, guys. And so we'll be able to cover the alerts on the weather as well as the alerts on Israel. It's pretty cool. Thank you guys again for telling me about that app. Okay, so what we're doing over on Starship After Dark, okay? I got the purple circle on back there because Starship After Dark is on the air back there. These computers back here, this one here is one, and this one here is the other one. These computers are broadcasting live, and if I can find more data to put out, that one back there will be live too. They're showing a scene, and they're also, one is showing the flight tracker with a small little alert box. The other one's showing a big, huge alert box. The one's playing my music. The other one is just playing the sounds from Israel. They both have the audible alerts and the visual alerts. What the hell is that? That's got to be mosquito control. Spraying. Well, hey, Red Dot, thank you very much for that. I really appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. Guys, all the money I make does get rolled back into what I do here to mostly buy equipment is how I'm doing it. I normally pay for my subscriptions. I've got about $150 a month in subscriptions for all the different apps and programs that I use. But generally speaking, the money I make from YouTube gets rolled back into physical equipment. I've got my whole remote broadcast rig set up now, and I'm just going to continuously get better equipment so that I can provide better broadcasts. Yeah, thank you very much for that super chat. Absolutely. Yeah, Jamie, I don't know. I'm not the person to get into long biblical conversations because I'm going to be very honest with you. There's things I study hard on and there's things I don't study. And religion is one of the things I really don't study. It doesn't interest me that much. I'm interested in what it teaches because I believe in it. And I believe in what it teaches. But other than that, it's not something that really interests me, so I don't put time into it. I'm a science guy. I love science. But I'm not in the science so much that I don't believe in religion. That's the important part. I believe that science and religion, they meet each other around the corner. It's actually all the same thing. But yeah, thanks again. All right, so what we got going on is we are watching Fox Now or Fox Raw, which is basically an internet feed, and I just put it in a small box. We are getting some rolling. I don't know why. I may have to kill something in here. I'm going to start going through and seeing what I've got running that I can shut off. I think that's going to be an internal bandwidth situation, so let me see what I can do to shut some stuff off here. There we go. Let me suspend that. Get rid of that. All right, there we go. That should firm it up. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. Yeah, crude oil's dropping back down to 86. Yeah, we knew this was going to happen. Very short spike. And now all of that stuff that went way too high, considering how it was produced, is now going to come back down and be sold, you know, at a better rate. So this is how the markets work. They go up, they go down, they suck. What is wrong with this thing? Oh, I'm getting really aggravated. I don't know if I've got something running here. I don't know what's going on. All right, I hate to do it, but let me just get rid of that for right now. Okay, we just got an alert that came in. It just came in. Let me get this on the screen. Another alert come in. It's a confrontation alert in Metula. And so you can see that there. It comes up on the map. And I can look over and see that that's already come up on both of my other channels. And they're getting the audible alerts for that. I don't know why I'm not getting the audible alerts for that. So let me go and take a peek. We should have heard that. audible alert, and all I heard was the ding-a-ling-a-ling. Let me see what we got here. Huh, it's all set, right? I'm gonna refresh it. It's been going all day up there. Okay, so we'll let that go. All right, so that I don't know what happened there, but we will watch that if it comes back up again. But that's how quick we can get it up if we need to. We're going to check back on the weather in a few minutes. I got everything firmed up now. It looks like it's running good. All right. Isn't that weird? I don't know what happened. Huh. You guys are hearing static? Let me switch my mic to the other mode. How do you guys hear me now? Test 1, 2, 3. Well, Jamie, I'm a reincarnation person, so I think I've done a lot of orbits around this sun. Probably more than just the 57 I'm aware of. Let's see here. It's lower now. Yeah, I can turn this up. Let's see how this now. The air conditioner sucks. I'm going to be moving this whole studio around before long, and I'm working on a way to dampen that sound out even more. It's not as bad now. Okay, I'll leave it like this. I'll leave it like this. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. It could be. It's a good cable, but, you know, it could be. I'll check it. I'm having problems with my Scarlett, which is my sound card. It's a Scarlett 2i2 professional sound card, and I'm having issues with it. It's going on and offline, and the sound quality's not great. So I actually went and dug up. Oh, I don't know where it is now. I don't know where it is. Huh. Oh well, I have it right here somewhere. I actually went and found my. Oh, where the fuck is it? Oh, here it is. This is my other one I got. So, what I'm going to do is I'll switch over to this one, and we'll see if we still have the same problems. So I'll do that probably before we go on tomorrow night. So I'm going to put that up here, and I'll put this right here, and I'll switch that out tomorrow. So hopefully that will make it better. Okay. All right, so what's going on in the news? Well, cannabis compounds now being found to be even more helpful medicinally. And they're saying now that it could significantly improve metabolic health and liver function for those with certain common diseases. All right, we're getting another alert, this one in Israel. Additional alerts coming in. I don't know why I'm not getting alerts from this thing anymore. It's weird because it tells you stuff when it alerts. Yeah, thank you, Dispatch. Yeah, hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed, do that, please. It really helps. But anyway, two compounds significantly improved metabolic health and liver function in those with common diseases. Compounds found in cannabis could provide a new roadmap for treating the world's most common chronic liver disorder, according to a study released by the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. A research published in the British Journal of Pharmacology also found that cannabinoids, or CBD, and cannabigerol, CBG, significantly reduced liver fat and improved metabolic health in experimental models. That's what everybody's been saying for so long, is that, look, this is the only thing that they call a drug that actually grows out of the ground. Everything else you have to make it. This one is ready. What that tells me is God put it here. And I do believe in the medicinal use. Absolutely, I think it works great. I have no problem with whatever you use it for, but especially medicinal, I will fight for someone's right to get medicinal marijuana. We have it here. It works for people. They like it, and it helps them, helps their quality of life in many different ways, whether it's suppressing pain, helping with depression, helping with other addictions. There's so many things that THC and CBD and all these different things, CBGs and all these, there's so many of these things that they're finding can actually help us. And the whole getting high part is just a very small part of all the benefits that you can get from it. And so I just wanted to bring that to everybody's attention, that every day, with more, as they study more and more things, they find that it's a miracle drug. It truly is a miracle drug. It has to be used properly and all that, but it is a miracle drug. And Trump is now saying that Iran faces strikes 20 times harder if the nation refuses to heed to the U.S.'s warning. He wants an unconditional surrender. I haven't heard that since the Klingons. That's awesome. Good luck. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be... but the thing is, you have to remember, we're pounding them into the dirt. So I don't think that they're going to have much fight left in them. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that, Herman. I've heard a lot of people say, "Hey, the weather's worse now than it was earlier in my life." I actually believe it for where I live here, because I lived in the same place for 57 years. Where I live, we used to get much stronger and much worse storms 20, 30 years ago than we get now. I mean, I can remember tornadoes coming through, little ones, little Florida tornadoes. I can remember hail being so thick that it crunched when you walked on it. It was like an inch thick. I can remember, 60, 70 mile an hour wind gusts. There was a lot of bad storms when I was both growing up and when I was a firefighter. And so now, later in life, I look back and I'm like, maybe it's just because I'm staying home more, I'm inside more. I don't go out in the weather that much like I used to, being a firefighter and a deputy sheriff and things like that. And so maybe, possibly maybe, it's just the fact that it's a perception thing. And it may be, I don't know. But in my opinion, storms used to be more violent down here in Florida than they have been over the last 15 years. Yeah, I don't. Beirut has gotten, unfortunately, right in the middle of this thing. There's just they were lobbing bombs over there and everything else. Yes, cannabis works great on back pain. What the hell was that? I'm starting to hear the strangest things. it's the sweetest thing. I go out there and there's my cat. There's Daddy Kitty, the one that's been pretty sick. And there he is, sitting on this thing we got there by the door. And he's sitting up there, and that little baby kitten is sitting right next to him and loving on him. He's a male cat. He's 12 years old. He's a male cat. His health is bad. And he's having respiratory issues, and he gets into respiratory distress sometimes. And I think he's had a stroke. And the reason he got the name Daddy Kitty is because he would always, and it's not this one, it's the big orange one. The reason he got the name Daddy Kitty is because anytime we would take in kittens, which is something we would do here, we would take in a kitten or two, and we would usually raise them and get them to a certain point and then find them a home, or we would end up keeping about half of them. But anyway, the point is we would take in mamas and their kittens. And the moment we would take in the kittens, he'd hear those kittens and he'd get excited. And he would live wherever we've got them kittens. If we've got them in the bedroom, if we've got wherever we have those kittens and we're taking care of them, which is usually in the bedroom, one of us has literally got it in our room, sleeping with it, with the kittens. And Daddy will be there. Daddy will immediately make friends with the mama kitty. Daddy was best friends with her the whole time she had her kittens here. And Daddy just loved her kittens, raised her kittens, paid more attention to them than she did sometimes. And so he got the moniker Daddy Kitty, because I've never called a cat. I've had about 10 mama kitties, but I've only had one Daddy Kitty, and that's him, because most male cats don't even care anything about kittens. And so I've always loved that. And I just walked out there again, and that little kitten is all curled up with him and laying there with him. Yeah. Yes, there is a battery in my microphone, but it's a fairly new battery in my microphone. Do you think that could be it? Yeah, that just depends. When it comes to post-tropical systems, that'll depend, because we'll have Gulf storms for 4 or 5 years, and then it will shift and we'll have Atlantic storms for 4 or 5 years. It's a cycle, just like everything else. And when we're on a Gulf cycle, Oklahoma and Texas and Alabama, Mississippi, they're all going to get the residuals from these storms coming off the Gulf. But then when it turns to an Atlantic cycle for a while, it will seem like you don't get much. But yeah, it's very cyclic. Let me tell you something. My mother and my father built their house, had it built by Povia Valentine Construction Company in 1969 in North Fort Myers. And that house stood until 2022. 55 years that house stood. And the water never even got close to it. It's been completely flooded out 3 times in 2 years. So it's all like, you could go 100 years and never get hit by a Cat 5. Or you could get 3 of them in 1 year. You just never know. It's so freaking random and nuts. And then when you add all of the cycles, the El Nino, the La Nino, all the different oscillations, and all the different cycles, and then you add on top of that the layers of energy like solar cycles and things like that. There is so much that goes into the weather. So it's hard to tell. A house sits for 55 years and then gets flooded 3 times within 700 days. What I want you to just think of what are the, if we were to calculate the odds. I'm not good with math, but that would be interesting to see what that odds would be. So it's one of those things where you the whole time growing up, I loved hurricanes. One never hit here. Never had a hurricane hit here. The whole time growing up, the whole time I was a firefighter, I was on the hurricane response team. I was the emergency manager for my station. I responded to a bunch of different ones, Opal, a bunch of different ones, but the big one was Andrew. I went to Andrew. Andrew was a 175 mile an hour Cat 5 plus superstorm that hit just south of Miami and ripped the entire weather array off of the National Weather Service Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida. And I responded the morning after, and that was an eerie, spooky thing down there. And when you start looking at that, the East Coast was getting storms every year. I can remember going over and helping here and helping there and helping there, but our coast never got anything. Well, the last 5 years, it's been all our coast. We have them come all the way across and then come up and hit us in the gut. We've got them coming around Cuba and smacking into us like this. We've got them coming around all different ways. Hopefully in a few years it will pass on to either be a Texas, Louisiana for a while, or will it go back to the Atlantic side for a while? But it's weird how it works. It's very weird. Yeah, those two idiots that tried to throw bombs. Yeah, they're morons. I can say this, the FBI has confirmed that they were viable devices, meaning that the intent was always to make something that was going to harm and kill. And they actually thought that they did make something that would harm and kill. And it was simply just due to them mixing something wrong or something like that is what caused it not to go off. There was a step missed or something. These guys were amateurs, thank God. But there was a step missed in the process. And because of the step missed in the process, the bombs didn't go off. And where they threw them and with all the people that they threw them, it could have really hurt a lot of people. Oh, this is cool, guys. Look who's on. I can't really put this up, but look who's on Fox National right now. It's Nick Shirley, and he's talking about more fraud that he's found. I love this guy. Yep, and he's on Fox right now on Gutfeld talking about, and look, he's wearing a Leering Center t-shirt. God, I love this guy. I love this guy. He's one of my favorite YouTubers, Nick Shirley. If you haven't subscribed, please go subscribe to him. He's the one that uncovered all of this bullshit that's going on in Minnesota. Thanks, Manic. Thanks for the super chat. Starship Adventures, honestly comment, we are effed as the U.S. is concerned, right? Oh, I don't think so at all. No, I have more hope for this country right now than I've had in years. Oh, are you kidding me? No, I think things look up. Things are looking up technologically. We're at the cusp of having our own robot servants. I'm at the cusp of being able to make my own movies and television shows. I've got creativity out the ass. I got a channel going on. Everything's going great. Trump stopped a bunch of wars. He's working on a few more. No, I think it's a great time to be alive. I live in Florida, one of the lowest tax states, and I have no income tax. Things are going great here. They're getting ready to eliminate my property tax and our bridge tolls. So no, it's a great time to be alive. The bomb stinks of the FBI. Okay. I don't know how you get that. If they really wanted to cause a mess, wouldn't they make one that would have worked? I think the chance of the FBI or our government somehow being directly involved in this action is nil. But thanks for the super chat, dude. I really appreciate it. I am concerned. I'm always concerned because capitalism and our representative republic is under attack every day by communism. It's under attack by these communists that go out and stand out there and throw rocks and throw bags of piss at our cops that are out there trying to do a good job for us. Are you talking about the original terror attack before 9/11? Absolutely, I remember that. Look, I'm one of these people that anytime there's a big conspiracy theory, I go a little crazy on it, and then I generally come back to the same conclusion. There's certain things like the JFK assassination where you're right. There's just way too much that doesn't add up. That needs, I think there's definitely more there that we still, even though they've released stuff, we still don't know about. But there's other things like we didn't go to the moon and George W. Bush brought down the buildings and stuff and building number 7 was taken. Yeah, okay. It happened like it happened. It is what it is. A lot of times, we as humans try to overcomplicate everything we look at. And once you look at things and you exhaust all of the possible outcomes, what you're usually left with is the most simple and direct path, and that's what happened. And that's how I feel about that one too. Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't know. I personally don't think that's the case. Do I have any trust for the FBI? No, I don't trust them at all. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. But I also don't see the benefit that they would have achieved. First of all, they don't shit without a plan. Um, yeah, I know. Whatever. um, yeah, I don't think they need that for control. Guys, I'm sorry, but I used to be a lot more into conspiracies and what you do as you go through life and as you study more and you do more and you become more and you serve in different capacities. I mean, you got to remember, I worked for the government. I made my way from volunteer fireman to paid fireman to engineer to lieutenant to captain to deputy chief to chief, and I retired out with a bad back. So that's my. And I was also a cop for 8 years during that time. And I also, I worked in dispatch. I was on the emergency disaster response team as a comm specialist. And I did all kinds of neat stuff back then. And now I've been in media for 15 years, producing conservative talk radio every day. So when I say I'm interested in this stuff and I research it, I study it, and it's part of it, I'm not just saying that. I mean, I actually have real world experience. I actually used to teach Brannigan's class, building construction for the fire service. So, I mean, I used to actually teach building construction and how it affects firefighters and how fire affects structures and things like that. And I studied 9/11 for years, and it's 100% exactly the way they say. It's exactly the way they say it is. And then you hear all these absolutely asinine things like those were missiles and they weren't really planes, and the planes are actually in a hangar in Mumbai. And I'm like, oh my God. You know what? 99% of the time, the most logical explanation is the truth. The most reasonable and obvious path of least resistance is generally always the truth. And so I now live by that. So instead of jumping off the deep end, I stop and say, nope, let's take a look at this. And now with AI, it's a lot easier to do deep dives and get numbers and generate a lot of really great information to help you make a good choice. But we have a launch tonight. Let's take a look at that. I'll get that up over here. I don't even think I've looked at that page today. Yeah, 11:19. That's about 1 hour from now. All right. We'll keep an eye on it. I'll stay, I guess, for this launch. If you guys think it's gonna go, I'll go ahead and I'll stay up for this for a little while. I'll go a little late. Yeah, there we go. Tower 7. Someone always brings up Tower 7, and I have to explain the whole thing. Here's it is in a nutshell. That entire World Trade Plaza was sitting in a hollowed out bowl, okay? They went in there and they dug everything out of there. They went down 10 stories and they dug that entire thing out. And then they went in and they built this entire superstructure underneath what would be all these different buildings that would make up World Trade Plaza. Now, all of these structures underneath there were all designed to work together to support the load of all these buildings. When Building 1 and Building 2 came down, they destroyed much of that infrastructure, if not all of it, that was underneath there. Well, a lot of that infrastructure was holding up Building 7. They heard creaking in Building 7 the entire day until it collapsed. As a matter of fact, they were originally using that as part of one of the command centers, and they moved out of there because they knew it was going to go. There's no conspiracy. It was damaged by falling debris. But what took it down was What took it down was not the falling debris. Even though the falling debris did damage the corner of the building pretty bad, I don't believe that's what took it down. I think it would have stayed up. However, the infrastructure was destroyed underneath the road. And we had 110-story buildings crashing down to the ground, destroying every single thing around them and under them and near them, including part of the superstructure that held up Building 7. And that's the bottom line. There's nothing to be gained by purposely bombing a third building. The damage was done. You know, when you've looked for facts to support it and you can't find any, the next thing I look for is a reason. Maybe I can't find the facts, but let me find a reason. Was there a reason why we bring down Building 7? I've heard all kinds of wild reasons, but I haven't heard one that actually sounds real to me. There's no reason to bring this down. It doesn't make so sense. So why every time I bring this up, anytime I bring this up, Building 7 is brought up. Every time. And the truth is, Building 7 came down because the infrastructure under it was damaged or destroyed. You can say that over and over again, and 2 days from now, the same person will bring it back up. What about Building 7? Well, sorry, guys. I mean, it is just what it is. You know, like I said, I used to teach the building construction in the fire service course. I know building construction, and I'm telling you that everything that day happened exactly as it should happen. It just, nothing that day seemed like it was any kind of crazy thing. Yeah, see, and this guy's always there, but he wasn't there that day. You can come up with all kinds of those, but the truth is what happened is what happened. Because everything else requires leaps of faith and gaps of knowledge and also gaps in logic. Okay? The only thing that plays out without gaps of reason and gaps of logic is what actually happened that day. Yeah. I know a lot of you guys want to believe that 9/11 was an inside job and it wasn't a bunch of Muslims that hijacked our planes. But the truth is, guys, I'm sorry, I hate to burst your bubble. It was a bunch of Muslims and they hijacked our planes. I don't know how else to say it. We've had conversations and we know what was actually going on two of the planes because of phone calls that were being made. We know that the planes were taken over by these people that were speaking what sounded like Arabic or some kind of Middle Eastern tongue. There was 2 or 3 incidents where they picked up the wrong mic and spoke on the radio telling people to sit down. there was also one of the planes that had several communications. They were Middle Easterners. So I don't, the whole, it's just crazy when you think about it that you guys are going to, no, it was this, and no, it was that. And the truth is, there's no way you would have to go through all this to get to the right answer when the right answer is right in front of your face. They said they were going to do this. They did it. It happened. It's what happened. And then you get people, oh man, hundreds of people reported that what hit the Pentagon was a missile and not a plane. That's just ridiculous. We have video of the plane. You can see it's a plane. They have plane engines and plane landing gear all inside there. You can see them pulling it out. There's video of them removing it. Why? And if it was a missile, where's the plane? I mean, this is the kind of stupid. Oh, well, the plane was taken with all the people, and they're still alive somewhere in a cave. I mean, the whole thing's just laughable, guys. What happened is what happened. I don't know why people have such a fetish with making up new things that happened that day or different ways that what we know happened. And it's okay, though. If you like doing that kind of, there's not that you're not welcome here, but there's plenty of channels that love this kind of stuff. And they'll believe you. They'll talk to you about your conspiracy theory. But I'm going to be honest. I've talked about all I'm going to talk about it because conspiracies are one of those many things in life that the older and wiser you get, the less you believe in any of that kind of stuff. It's just a fact. Now, you're not going to think that way because of the way it works, but that's okay. You will one day. Nothing's been ignored. There's a video about everything. There's videos about everything. There's hundreds of videos, all the phone calls, all the recordings, all the flight traffic recorders, the ATC traffic. They've got everything from that day. They've got tens of thousands of 911 calls. They've got hundreds of hours of dispatch audio. It's all online. It's all available. It's all been made open in the public. So we probably have more documentation of that day in New York and D.C. and Pennsylvania than we have of any other single incident in all of human history. Yeah. Well, it's not that we don't want to hear your legitimate question and we start crying about crazy conspiracy theories. The truth is, a majority of people out here are getting a little tired of all the conspiracy theories. I mean, if we believed all these conspiracy theories, I mean, look at what this world would be. The whole world's run by the Illuminati and our government brings down our own buildings for an insurance job. I mean, the whole thing's crazy, guys. And we didn't go to the moon either, right? Yeah. We were blasting up fake stuff into space. We would load the guys in it, and then we would somehow get them back out of it when no one was looking. And then we would blast up a fake ship into space and then shoot the whole thing like a Hollywood film. Do you realize it would have been easier to actually go to the moon than it would have been to shoot that production? Oh, my God. Yep. That's right, Drake. There's way too much evidence that supports exactly what happened that day for us to even entertain anything else at this point. It's like, well, there's 263 people said they saw a missile hit the Pentagon. Yeah, and you know what? 2,500 people signed affidavits or gave statements that they saw a plane hit the Pentagon. So just because, I don't know, 4% of the witnesses were mistaken, that doesn't mean it was what the 4% saw. It means it was what the 96% saw And the 4% made a mistake. Yeah, and the earth is flat. There's another one I love. I love the earth is flat. You talk about some closed-minded people. Anytime I debate a flat earther, and I have debated I debated a flat earther on my radio channel at 5 o'clock hour one day. We had a full-on debate for 10 minutes. And when I asked him, I know it's not flat because I got pictures of it. He says, all those pictures come from NASA. And I'm like, no. We've got 45 or 50 private companies taking pictures of the Earth from space. We got tens of thousands of people that have access to all this data. There's no way there's a conspiracy right now with all the governments in the world involved, and everybody's all involved in the world in this conspiracy to convince us that the world is round when it's actually flat. And so they actually have satellites that beam back fake images of the Earth because they don't want us to know that the Earth is really actually flat. And then I always go, okay, so I'm in a plane, and I set my plane on a course due east from the Americas, and I end up in Japan. Why is that? And I said, and if I go to the other side, and I go to Japan, and I set my course to the west, or to the east, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, I end up back in the United States again. That doesn't make any sense, because that same thing works on the other ocean. I can get in and fly due east from New York, and I will end up in England. And I can fly due west from England and end up in New York. Both of those things can't happen if the Earth is flat. And then they try to give you this thing about how, oh no, because what happens is you're actually flying, you don't realize it. Oh, God damn this freaking camera. I hate this camera. I hate it. Damn it. What you're really doing is you're flying, but you're actually flying in a circle, and you don't realize it because the compass is not correct because the Earth is flat. Oh my God. No, that's another thing. One of the questions I always ask flat earthers is, why is it that every heavenly body that we can see from here, whether it be Ceti Alpha 5, or whether it's Pluto, a planetoid, or whether it is Mars or Venus, no matter what we see, our own moon, many moons around different planets, everything we see, it always is one shape. It's round. Everything's round. We've never found anything in nature that's not round. If you take enough shit and you throw it in space, and it's all moving relatively in the same direction, in 10,000 years, it'll be a round ball of shit. It's just the nature of things. And so the possibility of even getting a flat Earth would be impossible. And then they dismiss that. And then I'm like, okay, how about this one? Radio propagation. Somebody's already mentioned this. If the Earth was flat, I should be able to put a big old Yagi on my house and talk to England on VHF. I should be able to talk to anybody on the planet on VHF with enough wattage and enough height, right? There's no horizon anymore. If I go up 1,000 feet and put a Yagi up, I should be able to talk to the Middle East on VHF and UHF, right? But it doesn't work that way, because as that signal leaves my 40-foot tower here and it starts to move out across the land, all right, what ends up happening is my little tower is right here, okay, and it's transmitting, and eventually the Earth will come up between my tower and your tower. Your tower, my tower, the Earth is in between them. And if our towers are too far down on the horizon, the Earth comes up between our towers. That's referred to as over-the-horizon communication. Ground communication over the horizon is difficult. Now, if the earth was flat, this wouldn't be a problem. Oh, because we would be able to do this all the time. VHF and UHF radio would work very similar to HF radio. Ground propagation could go all the way across the whole earth. God, I hate this damn camera. So anyway, I've got all the stuff turned off in it. Everything's turned off in the camera, and it continues to do it. I don't know what to do about it. $160 camera. Kind of a waste of money. All right, so, and that's another one, the radio propagation. Another one I like to give them is, I can prove the earth is round with a laser beam. We can actually put a laser beam and have it shooting directly flat. And if you go out far enough, the laser beam will actually touch the earth. The earth will come up between you and the laser beam. I mean, we can prove that the earth is round with shit that I have in this room right now. That's how simplistic this is. It doesn't take a rocket scientist. And then I always give them the other test. What about this? You're in England. It's getting dark there. Sun's high in the sky here. If we were all on a flat earth, wouldn't we all have dusk at the same time? All have dawn at the same time? All experienced first light at about the same time? If we're on a flat surface and that flat surface comes around and becomes illuminated by the sun, then that means we would only need one time zone, because we would all eat dinner at 6 o'clock and the sun would be going down. How ignorant can people be? Is that a conspiracy too? We dim the lights at different times so people think they're on a rotating globe? I mean, how dumb is it? And so flat earthers really surprise me, because of all of the crazy nutball things you can believe in out there. I actually believe that flat earth theory is probably the worst. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I do believe in. I do believe in UFOs and intelligences beyond Earth. I do believe in ghosts. I believe in some kind of spiritual intelligence that we're able to briefly have contact with. I do believe in a lot of things. I've got a very open mind. As I said, I'm scientific, but I still believe in Christianity. So I've kind of got, I've got an interesting take on all this. I used to be much more into conspiracies than I am now. I'm just not into them anymore, because look at this. These people, they believe the freaking earth is flat, and nothing you say to them will ever change their mind. Ever. I don't know. And I find that a lot of people are like that. Whether it's people that get involved politically into things, or people that get involved into scientific or into scientific conspiracies, or they get into attack conspiracies like on 9/11. The people that get involved in that kind of stuff, they get lost in it. It becomes like a little mini religion in a way. And it worries me in a way, because I think they'll all eventually realize that, yeah, what happened was pretty much what happened. And yes, there's conspiracies, but not on this level, generally speaking. Well, there you go. I actually founded and ran Florida Paranormal Research for about 8 years, and then I shut it down. I shut it down because I couldn't find anybody that would do scientific research. All they wanted to do was come and play like Jason and Grant on TV. And I couldn't deal with it anymore, so I just shut it down. No hard feelings. Nobody was mad. I just didn't do it anymore. I also, just so you know, when last night during our discussion about who was the first one on YouTube to do multi-screen broadcasting, do you know what I forgot to bring up? I did multi-screen broadcasting before YouTube allowed live broadcasting. I used Justin TV. And we had 5 screens in a chat room on a multi-screen that you would pull up on your computer. This was before you could watch on your TV. This was before you could watch on your device. You had to have a computer and internet. But I had the red screen, the blue screen, the green screen, the yellow screen, and then a chat room. And I was on the red screen hosting the show, and all the other ones were different. Like there would be a camera in a room, and you would hear the ghost hunters in that room, and you would see what they're doing. You could see the equipment they were working on. It was really good. And the problem was the internet was not ready for multi-screen. Nobody could ever watch our show without all kinds of problems. And we always had glitches. It was always a pain in the ass. And so it went for a while. It was fun, but it never really took off. If I were to go do that show today, I could probably put all that equipment together and put that show together with what I have today. And it was cool, and we could do it a lot better today. And the other thing that's interesting is, when we did it back then, like I said, there was nobody doing anything like this. I'm just seeing what audio I got.
He said, no, I will not do it. I will not do it.
That was a speech from earlier. I don't know what that is, but I'll leave that up in the background there. That's it's the Middle East. It's coming from the Middle East. Anyway. But anyway, to finish what I was saying, when we started talking about who's copying who was the first person to actually do this, I think it might have been me. I don't mean to toot too hard on my own horn, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I actually was doing multi-screen broadcasting before YouTube, back when YouTube had a 10-minute time limit and no live broadcasting. And I didn't do it like this. I had a web page that had the players built into the web page, and the chat room was built in. It was a separate chat room. It wasn't like we have today in YouTube. The chat room was actually something I had to add separately. And I had moderators just like we do now. And the people would say whatever they see, like, oh, I just saw something, green room. I just saw something move from left to right. And then that would timestamp it, and then we would save the transcript, and that way we would get everything. Hey, Demetrius, how you doing tonight? Appreciate the super chat. I use OBS. And I use OBS Studio, and I'm using version 32. And it works very well. Thank you very much for the super chat. All the money I make on YouTube gets put back into better broadcasts. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I definitely believe that a lot of hauntings are in people's heads, but I also believe that there's a lot of real phenomenon out there. Absolutely. Cave dwelling sheep farmers, yeah. Third world country, 6th century. It's amazing. I'm just glad we're not doing like we did before and we're going to go over there and show them how good things are in America. You know what? People over there don't care about that. People like to live the way they were brought up. And just like we don't want them coming here and changing our culture, I don't necessarily believe in us going there and trying to change theirs either. I don't believe in nation building. If you're going to build nuclear wars and you're going to attack our people with terrorists and you're going to fund terror groups, then we'll bomb you back to the 6th century. And that way you can't do it no more. But we're not going to come in there with a bunch of boots on the ground and losing our guys and our blood over trying to patriate a bunch of people that don't want nothing to do with us or our Constitution. And so I say bomb them back to the 6th century and then send in some aid and fly away and be done with it. How many monitors do I have? Oh my God. And I don't even have half the studio turned on tonight. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, not counting the little blinky ones and stuff that aren't really monitors. I got 26 actual monitors or television monitors. Yeah. 26. And I run 10 computers. All of them are Windows 10 except one Windows 11 machine, and I'm going to probably be sending it back or getting it back on Windows 10. We're about done there. Sure. Yeah, it won't take much longer. He was talking today in his speech today that we're getting close. That we've already greatly degraded what they're able to do, and so that's a good thing.
Every year, and particularly in Ramadan, Hidayah Foundation distributes food to tens of thousands of families who are among the poorest in the world.
That tornado there, they're showing footage. That's Fox Weather. They're just showing footage. You don't understand what we accomplished? Okay, well, buy a TV, first of all. Okay, here's the thing. What we accomplished is they were building a nuclear bomb. They're now no longer building a nuclear bomb. That's number one. Number two, they have been supporting terrorism all over the world. Number one state sponsor of terror in the world. Okay? And Trump has told them over and over again, you're going to stop doing this. You're going to stop doing this. You're going to work with us. We're going to give you options. We're going to play. And they don't want to play. And instead of working with Trump, they decided they were going to make threats and posture and saber rattle and not ever actually reach any kind of agreement. And so this is what happens. He told them this is what's going to happen, and he's true to his word. These people were killing Americans. Over 1,000 Americans at least can be attributed directly to sponsored terror from Iran. Well, because they'll end up, Israel will end up bombing this one too. The new Ayatollah. They'll end up bombing him out too. He's the third one. They appointed a guy the day after, and he was killed 7 hours later. Well, AI can certainly help, I'm sure, if it was tasked with it. We need cops. We need ICE. Well, yeah, he was replaced by his son, which nobody's actually seen the guy. There's no actual proof of life because his son was injured very badly a while back in some kind of thing they had going on. And so nobody really even knows what his exact status is at this point. All right, I'm looking for other videos. I need to replace out that one that's playing up there. So let's go look for protests first. We're going to take a look around and see what we got for protests tonight. Well, see, that's it, Lead. I personally would like to see a revolution over there, but I'm not going to be the one to start it, if you know what I mean. As much as I do want the revolution to happen, that's something those people need to do on their own. And now it sounds like it would be a great time to do it, don't you think? I don't know if you know it or not, but they hacked into Israel. Israel hacked into the television channels in Iran during the attack, and both President Trump and Bibi Netanyahu both gave messages to the Iranian people to stay away from military bases and to be safe and shelter in place. And then when we're done bombing, take your country back. And I thought that was balls, man. That's balls to actually break in. And I don't know if they were using transmitters. They were flying in planes. It was probably what happened. You put a plane up at 40,000 feet that's trailing a big long wire behind it, and you just literally blank their TV out by oversaturating it with high energy. Yeah, the Second Amendment's extremely important. The Second Amendment's there to protect the First Amendment. Yeah, that's the thing. Everybody just says, why are we fighting this? Well, because they're killing our people. They're threatening to make nuclear weapons. They're trying to make nuclear weapons. All this is true. But they're actually threatening to use this stuff. They actually make threats. And then when they are attacked by the United States and Israel, they lob bombs into 7 countries that aren't even attacking them. Yes, the plan was to take out their military abilities. That's it. And the leaders if possible. And allow the people in the country to take their country back. That's what we don't want that country. Everybody thinks that because Trump jokes around about like taking over Greenland and stuff, people actually think that he's like going to take over places. I don't know if you've noticed, it's all saber rattling. He's a troll. Donald Trump is the master troll. And he said, I'm going to take back the Panama Canal. That fool Jimmy Carter should have never gave it away. I'm going to take it back. Guess what? They came to the table. We've worked a much better deal out with them, and things are going great with Panama, and they're our great friend now. Same thing with Greenland. We're in talks with them. Things are going well. I think eventually we're going to get everything we need in Greenland. You got to understand how Trump works. All right? He pulls the pin and throws the bomb, and it's all laying the groundwork for what he's got planned later. And when you see him trolling something heavy, like I'm gonna go back and take Panama back, he was never gonna go take Panama back. I never thought for 1 minute that he was gonna go and take Panama back. No, Iran has made no indications that they want to surrender. There may be factions of people within Iran that want to surrender, but the government has not done that. The government has come out and issued an apology for bombing 7 countries that were not related to what was being done to them. And then 7 hours later, they issued another statement retracting the apology. So they're communicating. If the government wanted to surrender, they have an open line right to the White House. I'm sure they can call. There's no. I don't think there's any chance in hell that they want to surrender and we won't accept it. I don't think there's any way in hell that that's happening. Well, Lead, I don't think look, what's the plan? There is no plan because it's not our plan to go in there and rebuild a new regime. We're not nation builders. We're not writing any constitutions anymore. We're done and we're getting out of the nation building business, okay? It did not go well the last 2 or 3 times we tried it. And so it's time right now for us to just go and decrease their ability down to zero, and then let nature take its course. There's not necessarily a plan. It's not up to us to replace who's going to be their supreme leader. That's not up to us. What is up to us is degrading the force that is fighting us. That is up to us. Yeah, I don't care. I only eat turkey once a year. It's good though, but only once a year. Yeah, I would be shocked as well if they were ready to surrender. Yeah. Well, so lead. You now believe in nation building. You believe in removing a dictator and then installing a government and helping them write their constitution. Is that what you're saying? You're a nation builder now? Because that kind of flies in the face of a lot of the other stuff you've said here. Because I'm not into nation building. Not my job, man. It's not my job. I don't need the nation build shit. I'll take your ability to hurt me away, and then I'll walk away. Yeah. Yeah, and Turkey, okay, whatever. There's a lot of people pissed off right now because they were getting their oil from Iran. What are you doing, crazy cat? Are you daft, lassie? She is. Oh, here's some good news. Here's some good news for you. If I can get the thing to load. All right, guys, this coming from Fox News National. At least 40% of California teachers plan to quit in the next decade. In the next decade, I was kind of hoping they were going to do it a lot quicker than that. Age likely a significant reason why California teachers are more likely to say they plan to retire. What the hell? This is not even a story. What kind of dumb bullshit is this? Nearly half of California teachers plan to retire or quit in the next 10 years. Well, since they generally only teach for 25 years, some 30, depending on where you're at, it makes perfect sense that 40% are going to retire, since 10 years would be about 40% through their career. That just, this whole story is just dumb. Look, when a liberal teacher retires, it's a good thing because they can no longer do harm to our children. I'm not sure that is showing the recent attacks, I guess. That's showing all the places I believe that the bombs were lobbed. You can see it's all around the outside of Iran. So I do believe that's where all the bombs were lobbed. If there's an alert that goes off for Israel, I will bring that up here so we can see it. I actually have that. I have that right here, and I can bring it up on a moment's notice so that we can see what is going on. And we also have Radar Omega up, and we're going to be watching that for severe weather as well tonight. Tomorrow night's the big severe weather night. I think tomorrow night and possibly Wednesday night are both going to be severe weather nights. And right now, everything is calming its shit down. Oh, yeah, there's nothing. Everything's calmed down tonight, guys. No severe thunderstorm warnings, no tornado warnings. Everything is literally just slacked off completely. Other than heavy rainfall into central Georgia, Atlanta, heavy rain moving in right now into the Atlanta metro, and in points beyond Heath, you're definitely going to get some rain overnight. Um, well, Vincent, I don't know. That's pretty rough. Yeah, I do agree with you. I do believe I agree with your line of thinking here. Um, these snowflakes, these constant victims, have certainly made life more difficult for all of us. Hey, good old Boo Cocky, how you doing tonight? And also Golden Eagle, how you doing? I appreciate you guys coming in. Falcon 9's on the launch pad. Let me get this ready to go. It says it's starting at 12:05 a.m. That doesn't even make any sense. Huh. I don't know. Let me go back over here and check this out. Yeah, so as far as the severe weather goes, we're not going to worry about that no more. It's pretty much over with. There's none tonight. Tomorrow night's going to be a severe weather night. All right, this looks good here. I'm just reframing it just a little bit. There we go. All right, and I'm now looking again for protest video, and I can tell you guys so far I'm finding nothing. Let's see if maybe they're protesting somewhere. Even a couple of these guys, Nubbin St. Nubbins, he does a lot of multi-screening, and he is showing all stuff from the Middle East tonight. Let's see who else. I don't see any of the regular guys in here. I don't see any protesting going on at all. I don't even know if anybody's protesting. Oh boy. All right, guys, it's 11, but I'm going to stay on a little longer. I'm going to see if we can hold out for this launch. Have you guys seen this? There's an ad right now on YouTube, and it's for a plant. And it's the prettiest blue plant you've ever seen in your life. It's like neon blue and black. And it's the most beautiful house plant I've ever seen. I want one, right? But I start looking at this ad. It's bullshit. It's AI. The plant's not real. And I'm like, I don't think that nature makes plants that look quite like that. I don't know. I think it's bullshit. And then, and when you get finally you get through it, you read the whole thing. It says they send you seeds that you have to grow yourself. And I'm like, well, there you go. I guarantee you, nothing I ever grew would look anything like that. Washington weather chasers are out. Let me see if I can find that. Wow. Yeah, this is Washington weather chasers. I'm going to throw it up in the upper right corner. He's out chasing, and the snow is coming down to beat the band. No, that one's coming up now. And that's going to be Washington weather chasers after the commercial spot. All right. All right, I'm keeping an eye on this launch. I've got discrepancies here as to exactly when this thing's going up. According to the rocketlaunch.live, which someone gave me a while back, and it's a great website. According to that website, the launch is at 11:19 p.m. However, the video doesn't start until 12:05 a.m., which is 40 minutes later. Yeah, but the point is, I think the plant itself and the ad is all completely AI generated. You can tell the plant doesn't move right every time that you see them planting it or moving it. If you watch the plant intently and you blow it up, you can tell that it's not right. And I think it's a scam over seeds. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some beautiful plants that have some crazy colors, but I've never seen neon freaking blue and black like this. It's beautiful. God bless. Just stop. Damn it. Huh. I figured I'd get something to pop up about it, but no. Not so much. Portland Andy's live, but he has no video, nothing going on really. That's funny. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Let's finish out what's going on here in the big bad world. As far as space weather goes, we've got a glancing blow right now from a coronal mass ejection expected later this week. The CME ejection could graze Earth this week. The CME was hurled into space by an erupting magnetic filament on March 6th, and it is expected to reach our planet March 10th. It could spark a minor G1 class geomagnetic storm, which means that people in the Arctic would maybe see some auroras. Nothing major. China's launched more mysterious spacecraft. They launched another one called the Space Plane, and it's orbiting up there now. Nobody knows exactly what this thing does. They caught a really bright glint of sunlight off of it as it went by. All right, so that's pretty much all we got in space weather. All right, let's see. Well, I'll tell you, Bill Maher, who over the years has kind of gotten further and further to the left, just lately he has started to change his tune quite a bit. Holy crap. Oh, yeah. Conan O'Brien reveals when he knew that late night was in trouble. Late night shows were in trouble when they lost good people to host late night shows. That's what happened. You want to know what happened to late night shows? Well, what happened was we had Johnny Carson. That's what happened. You know, we had good people. Even Jay Leno was pretty good. And you know, them guys had rules. You know what their rule? You know what Johnny Carson's rule was? No politics. He would not smash presidents or smash politics. And before his death, he made a statement, I'm sure you can find it, where he said that the biggest problem with newer shows is that they're talking politics. When you start talking politics, you lose half of your audience. And so you either have to do what I've done, which is just go off the deep end and just do it, or you have to stay neutral and just do other things. You don't have to do politics. But see, these people today, they can't help themselves. The Jimmy Kimmels, you know, and all these other bastards, they can't help themselves. And the reason they can't help themselves is because the moment they get a platform, they got to start yelling all that liberal horse shit. Yeah, I've never dealt with shrooms, and it's I don't like anything that's like, hey, it'll get you really high on the way to killing you, but it won't quite kill you. I mean, that's kind of what it is. It's poison. It kills you, but it doesn't kill you all the way. Oh, deploribus, I don't know. Probably a little while, as being how big it is. seconds, though. It would be seconds, but um, it's just your ego that's dying. That's correct. Yeah, it sounded like fun, but I would just never do it. I'm always afraid of killing myself. Um, I really wish I could get some information on when this thing's actually going to launch. Yeah, the video on X says it starts at 12:05 a.m., which is 40 minutes after the launch. Yeah, they're using that now as medicinally, absolutely. When you do it in micro doses, you can actually get a medicinal value out of poisonous mushrooms. It's true. Um, all medicines that we have now will help you or kill you depending on how much you take. Yeah, I can imagine it would be fun. Wow. All right, I don't see much else here. Oh, guys, do we know what's going on with this launch? Because I'm not staying up another hour. I'm going to bed. I'm already 15 minutes past when I normally end the show. Um, Jeez. Uh, yeah, this is a communications satellite, a broadcast satellite. Um, okay, according to SpaceX's website, um, yeah, this launch is not going up for a little while yet. They're expecting liftoff. Well, T minus 1 hour anyway. It's T minus 1 hour. Um, yeah, he is. That's faster than I would drive in that much snow. I don't know where all the trolls are tonight. We had a lot of trolls last night, especially towards the end. Yeah, this thing doesn't go for over an hour. Oh no, you missed Baskin Robbins. We always missed it because I don't think we have a Baskin Robbins right around here. I've seen them around down here, but they're not that prevalent. Um, yeah, I drove a cop car 123 or 4 times, and that was good enough for me. You don't really do a lot of driving at 120. It's more aiming. Oh, now he's looking at what's wrong with his car. it's the shit's all caked on the front of it. Yes, my favorite ice cream is um, oh my god, I just literally drew a blank. I had it right there. Uh, I'll think of it in just a minute. It's a specific kind of ice, bluebell ice cream. And it's funny how it started. I never really cared about ice cream. I would eat it sometimes. It's good. I don't really care. And we went to an event one time that we were sponsoring. It was a Christmas tree lighting, and I went down with my station and we set up our tents and all our stuff. And and the Bluebell truck backed up, and they're a sponsor of our show. And I'm like, oh hey, what are you doing? He's like, I've got your stuff for tonight. And he opened the back doors, and we were giving out ice cream, which I thought was really cool. And I gave out about $1,000 worth of ice cream over the course of the next 4 hours. And I ate a bunch of it myself. And that night, I fell in love with Bluebell ice cream, and it's just literally some of the best ice cream. And they have pistachio, which is really good. Their vanilla and chocolate are both really good if you want to go with the basics. And they've got a cherry that's really good, cherry vanilla, that's really good. But every Bluebell I've tried has been an amazing ice cream. So. Yep. I've never had that from Dairy Queen, but I'm starting to go to a Dairy Queen now because I've got one on the way home from work. I've been getting burgers and chicken strips and stuff there. It's not so bad. I don't do a lot of snacks and ice cream and stuff. Oh, wow. Brahms? I've never heard of it. Brahms from Oklahoma is putting Baskin Robbins out. I believe it. Um, he should have slowed down. That's what's wrong with it. Oh, that's right. That's right. All right. Well, I've made it through here. I'll tell you, this SAVE Act is coming up. Guys, we've got to do anything that any of us can do to help get this thing passed. This SAVE Act is probably one of the most important bills we've ever tried to push through. This bill would make it requirement for every state to make sure that every person on their rolls is a legal citizen. And then the second part of it is they have to require that every single person that votes shows a government picture ID. No exceptions. It's called the SAVE Act. It's very important. We've got to get this thing passed. We've got to get it passed. Even if it means getting rid of the filibuster or whatever. I can argue both sides of that point, actually. But I'm even saying now, hey, whatever it takes at this point, we've got to have fair elections. We've got to, and we're not having them right now. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow, that's interesting, neighbor. Yeah, no ID, no vote. You know, you need an ID to everything. You need an ID to drive a car. You need an ID to sign a contract or get something notarized. You need an ID to cash a check. You need an ID to get in to see your congressman. Yeah. You need an ID to get into many government buildings. You need an ID for just about anything. And yet they think that for some reason you shouldn't need an ID to vote. The only reason you would not want to have ID to vote is because you're cheating. We need this act, and we need it bad. Pets shouldn't vote. Dead people need to stop voting immediately. Illegal aliens need to stop voting. Legal people that are here legally that still shouldn't be voting. Don't forget, just because they're on a visa or something doesn't mean they get to vote. You've got legal people here that are voting. And even though they're here legally, they still shouldn't be voting. You know, in California, if you get a driver's license, you can then go get a voter card. But anybody can get a driver's license. So it literally is a designed loophole. McGreen Sherbert. Yeah, I'm sick to death of dead people winning these elections for people. I just hate it. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm coming up on 2.5 hours. Does anybody have anything else? You know, I've never been a fan of sherbet either, but I know a lot of people that like it too. That's interesting. It's like a lot of things. It's like yogurt. I don't really like yogurt, but I'll eat one. You know, if it's cold and I'm hungry, I'll eat one. It's not the end of the world. It's like eating some kind of rotten cheese. I don't know. But as long as there's enough sugar in it and it's cold enough, I'll eat it. I'm really sensitive to preservatives and things. Like when I buy a like blue cheese or ranch or Caesar dressing, when I buy any of those three dressings or sauces as I call them, when I buy any of those, I buy them out of the cold case. I don't buy the ones on the shelf. Because if you buy the ones in the cold case, they have very little to no preservative in them. The ones that are over on there do. I did Trump and all twice last night. I was only going to do it tonight if I had some hecklers in. And if I had a troll or two. We'll do it tomorrow night. I saved that for when we get the trolls. Although they just run. They're such pussies. Yeah, I like corn syrup, but I try to stay away from it too. And yeah, I don't like soy. But it's in everything. It's a filler. No, I like cottage cheese and blue cheese. Neither one are my favorite thing. The only thing I like blue cheese dressing on is hot wings. I love to get, I love to go to Hooters and get wings, or go to what is that, Buffalo Wild Wings. We got one of those. My mom likes that place. My mom likes to go into Hooters and get wings. She's 83 years old or whatever, 82 years old, and about once or twice a month we end up down in Hooters, sitting in there eating. We both like the chicken there. It's amazing chicken. Cottage cheese is almost colorless, odorless, and flavorless. It's very mild. You're not thinking of feta cheese, are you, or blue cheese? Because cottage cheese is pretty benign. I just eat it. If I want a scoop of it, I just eat it. But I don't buy it rarely. I buy it. I just, if I have it, I'll eat it. Yeah, I 3 Mile Island's pretty hot, but I'll eat them. But usually I just get there hot. But you know the secret is you tell them you want them wet, and they actually put them in a bowl, and they put hot sauce in the bowl, which I really like, and they don't charge you extra for that. I heard some of the Hooters have closed. We don't have that many here. I know there was one on Fort Myers Beach, and when I say Ian took it. The entire building was gone. There was sticks sticking up where the Hooters used to be. And it was never built back. But we've got one in Fort Myers, and I think there's one somewhere in Naples. There's just not a lot of them down here. You live down the street from the Leering Center? That's cool. Bionic Fire Truck. I love the name. I'm a retired fire chief. I love the fire service, and I'm glad I'm not doing it anymore. Oh, Gator's on a diet, so he's out. Boo for diets. You know, diets don't work, and I'm going to tell you why. Because a diet is a short-term plan for a long-term problem. And you got to... A good way to do this is to stop thinking of it in terms of a diet and start thinking about it in terms of a lifestyle. And, okay, I never tell myself, look, for the next week, I'm not going to eat this or I'm not going to eat that. What I do is I just stop buying it. It becomes part of my plan. And I'm not good at this either, but I'm getting there. So, like, I smoked cigarettes for like 2 years at the fire department. I didn't smoke a lot, but it was a social thing. Everybody else was smoking. My partner smoked. I started smoking. A couple years later, I just quit buying smokes. I just didn't want them anymore. I just walked away from them. And I do that with a lot of things. You know, there's a lot of things I shouldn't eat. Ice cream was one of them. I used to buy a big, huge tub of ice cream, and I would take that thing out of the freezer every night, and I would chip away at that bitch. And I've quit doing that. Now, you know what I do? I buy a pack of cheap, great value ice cream sandwiches, and I stick them in there. And if I want an ice cream sandwich, I allow myself to have one a day. And I don't generally eat that many. That pack of 12 will last me about 3 weeks. See, that's the thing. If you have a diet, then you have cheat days, you have starts, you have ends. But if you want to make a change in your life, you have to change your life. And that a diet doesn't change your life. It's a lifestyle change. You just have to tell yourself, I'm not buying this anymore. And I make deals with myself. I'm not giving up Mountain Dew. I'm not. So I'm trying to find other things that I can give up. I've just about completely stopped. I don't eat any candy bars. I don't eat any snacks. I don't buy any chips, potato chips or any of that. I don't buy cookies. I don't buy ice cream or ice cream cones other than that one pack of cheap ice cream sandwiches. And that's it. And so I've made lifestyle changes. Now there's some I haven't been able to do. The Mountain Dew, the Everglades seasoning. I'm hooked on this shit like phonics, man. Oh, what is this goddamn camera doing now? But yeah, I'm hooked on this shit like phonics. It's called Everglades seasoning, and you can get it on on Amazon. Um, I've been using Everglades seasoning since about '91. Literally, just a few years out of high school, I literally was starting to use this, and I was cooking with it at the station. Next thing you know, we're buying big tubs of it, and we're letting people scoop out of it for their own scoopers. It was kind of a thing. Luckily, I'm not a big potato chip person. That one was a fairly easy one for me to give up. You know, RWL, I've got a good friend, Carlotta, and she watches Dr. Now. And I think he's a neat old man. I like him because he's a no free ride kind of guy. And yeah, so that's I think the biggest thing that always surprises me about that My 5,000 Pound Life show is the fact that every single fat person that's been on that show acts like they've never watched the show. Every single one of them's like, they're on the way to the doctor. They just literally moved them into a truck with a forklift, and now they're on the way to the doctor, okay? And they're driving down the road, and she's in the back laying there like Jabba the Hutt, and they're driving up, and she's like, I wonder what the doctor's gonna say, Ma. And she's like, I think the doctor's going to tell you you got a big fat ass. You know, and I'm like, do they not watch this show? Number one, there's a camera guy recording all this. Number two, you know what the doctor's going to say. If you've ever watched this show, you know exactly what Dr. Nowlater's going to say. And that's what I call him, so get over it. You know exactly what he's going to say, okay? You go in there. That's why I call him Dr. Nowlater. Because now or later, you're going to have to comply with his bullshit. You can do it now or you can do it later, because that's pretty much the way it is. He tells every one of them the same thing. You can be fixed. You can be saved. We'll staple that belly. We'll cut off that fat. But we're not going to do any of that shit. We're not going to do any of that shit until you show the corresponding amount of effort. And that's why I love that guy. He tells them, he says, look, I will do all this surgery. I'll lop and cut and twist and twirl and tie and sew, and I'll do all this, and I'll suck and I'll do, but I'm not going to do it until you lose 150 freaking pounds. And I'm going to give you a dietitian. I'm going to give you the weights to lift. I'm going to give you the plan to do. I'm going to give you all the medicine that you need to stay stabilized while you're doing it. I'm going to work with you on your diet and your education on cooking the food and making food. But you have to do the work. And in every one of these episodes, they all go the same way. They all go the same way. She gets pissed at the doctor. She calls him an asshole. He walks out. Sometimes it's not quite that nasty. And she waddles back out to the car, or they bring her back out on the forklift, or however they're moving her around. And she gets in the car, and she's all crying. He told me I gotta lose weight. I just want my belly stapled up. I just want my fat cut off. I said, don't need this, motherfucker. And I'm just like, did you not watch season 1 or season 2 of this show? You're on a show. Would you go on a show without watching all the other shows that came before it? If I knew I was going on Jeopardy in 3 months, I would sit there and watch Jeopardy for the next 3 months. How? You're going on a TV show and you act like you've never seen an episode of that TV show. So anyway, that's my big problem with that show is I like what Doctor Now does. He's changed a lot of lives. He's helped a lot of people. However, that's the one part of that show that's almost weird to me. It's like, are you telling me that you never watched the show that you're on? Because that's just what it begs. It's what it begs. All right, so guys, we got a lot of folks in here. I've been hanging out a little bit because I got some high numbers. We're also waiting this launch. I don't know. I'm not going to probably wait that long. I did want to show you guys something real quick. I might show this again tomorrow. I've got this situation where I have so many USB things right now. I have about 15 studio lights and studio appliances and studio things that are all USB. And then over here I have about 5 charging cables to charge this tablet and charge this tablet and charge this phone and charge this phone. And I have a 10 port plug here. All right? And it's full. It's been full. I take it with me on vacation. So I just bought another one. This is a 10 port power hub. This one, though, unlike the other one, is mostly the newer USB-Cs. Now, I don't have a whole lot of those. I've got about 4 of those wires, and I can't use them over here, so now I can use them on this. But what a great deal. $24 on Amazon. $24. These are rapid chargers, every one of them, and it gives me 10 charging ports, 4 of the USBs and 6 of the USB-Cs. And I'm not telling you which company to buy from because they're all about the same. This one's from Root, whatever. The reason I bought this one is twofold. One, it was on a little bit of a sale. I got it for $24. But the other reason I bought it, it came with 4 of the little USB cables, the C to C, which those are the ones I'm a little shorter on. I've got plenty of the A to C, but I don't have that many of the C to C. So I found this one, and then I found one that has 4 cables that come with it. So I already have 4 of the 6 cables, and I've already got the other 2. So I now have everything I need to make this work. And what I'm going to do, I've got also a bunch of extension cables and stuff. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back over here behind the monitor, and I'm going to plug all of my studio lights into this. All of them. And then I'm going to put a switch on it. And that way, when I'm done with my show at night, I don't have to flip off those lights and flip off those and flip off that and flip off those and flip off that and flip off this and flip off that. I'm sick of it. I got 10 lights that I turn off every night when I'm done. Now they're all going on this, and I'm just going to put a little switch on it, and that is that. And that will also free up a couple of my charging ports over here that I can then start using. But you can get this on Amazon, $24. $24. And it comes with 4 cables, comes with the power cord, and it comes with the box. But for $24. So if it's your house, if you got 4 or 5 of these wall moles, you guys know what a wall mole is, right? It plugs into the wall, the USB plugs into that. Here's the thing. I know people that have a power strip, and they have 7 of these things plugged into a power strip. So to run all the USB stuff. There's 2 problems with that. One, it's not efficient. Each one of those uses a certain amount of electricity. And so it's not totally efficient. The second thing is it's unsightly. You've got this big power bar with all these boxes plugged into it, and you've got to shove that somewhere out of the way where it can't be seen. This is pretty. You stick it here. It looks nice. You plug everything into it. It's nice and compact. You can put it behind something. But here's the biggest thing. Every one of those has a little transformer in it. Every little transformer that you have, there's a slight risk that one day it'll catch on fire. I know it's crazy, but every day a house burns down somewhere in this 5-county area due to a transformer. One of these little power converters. And so what I'm trying to do is I don't have any of these little mini wall moles in here. I'm buying these, and I put everything on one big one that has a cord that's It's better, much better, rather than having 10 little mini power converters running 24 hours a day. I just run one that's designed to do what it's doing. Neighbor, I agree with you on that, on the good product, the good value products. There's two reasons why I think that's happening. Number one, I do think generics are getting better because we're finding better, cheaper ways to make things. So I think, yes, it's a power plug. This is a power plug that plugs into an electric socket, and then on this end, it's a mini universal. That goes right into there, and then that gives me 10 plugs that I can use with USB. So there you go. So yeah, I think some of the great value stuff has gotten better, but I think there's two reasons for that. I think one, sometimes it has gotten better because they're finding less expensive ways, not necessarily cheaper, but less expensive ways to make the products. Number two, I think the name brand products are actually losing quality. And so I think that's part of why great value seems great, because I think a lot of times when you go pay for the actual full price product, it's no better than great value anymore. Yeah, computers are a real mess. I've got a pile back here, and I'll clean it all out. I'll clean everything out, clean the room out, literally, and then put everything back, wire everything exactly with all the right wires and put it all back exactly right. You know what I do? I bring in these two stands that I have, and I put a bar between them. And every single wire in here gets looped over that bar, and the bar is marked with tape, and it says USB A, USB B, USB C. It says power A, power B, power C, network, whatever, and I loop all my wires over this bar. And then once all the wires are gone, then I just stack up all the equipment. And then I clean the table, I wipe everything down, I completely clean all the monitors, front and back, I clean everything. I do this about once a year. And then I come in and I put everything back. I put everything back where I'm going to put it. I try to rearrange it better, make it better. And then when I get everything back the way I want it, then I start pulling those wires down one at a time and hooking each one up. And I try to find the perfect length wire. Most wires are 6 feet, but some are 4, some are 2, some are 8, and some are 10. So what I do is I'll try to find every wire I can that's as close to the right length as I can. But this is what you have to do. And it's a lot of work. It's a pain in the ass. But when you get a setup like this, you almost have to do something dramatic. And like I said, once every 12 to 18 months, I will completely dump this room. I'll do it on a day when it's not going to rain, and I will take everything out of this room, and then I will store it. I will literally take some of the bigger stuff in the house and store it, and I will slowly put it back one piece at a time until everything is packed perfectly. It's been about 8 months since I've done that, so I'm about halfway through the cycle now. Oh, you got an RT950. Yeah, I think you'll like that radio. Yeah, I've got so many cables I can't even. I've got a whole room full of just storage of that kind of stuff. You have no idea. No, well, and that's what happens is more cables get added, everything gets piled on top, and then everything becomes a big knotted mess. And so one of the things I try to do is I try to prevent that. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a night. I'm tired. I'm done. And I still can't get a straight answer as to what's going on with this launch. Yeah, I have a lot of older RCA and Cablevision type stuff. Eventually, I'm just going to throw all that stuff out because we're just not using much of that anymore. Now what I need is like HDMI cables and USB-C cables and stuff like that. Yes, and it's not as much that the Chinese are taking over as much as the Chinese are making good radios for a good price. That's the bottom line. I like my Chinese radios. Um, yeah, I know dispatch, but I've been on for 3 hours now and I'm tired. You have to remember I've been doing 6 and 7 hour broadcast days on here the last 2 days. I'll stay on for a few more minutes, but I'm really hurting. Isn't it amazing how cables that aren't moved or touched can get in knots? I've never understood that. I just don't understand it. All right, well, hang in there, guys. I got to get me a drink. I'll be right back. Coming in? Eddie is sitting out there pissed off because I won't go to bed. Okay, well, while I got so many folks in tonight, we've got a lot of new folks in tonight that we haven't met yet, and so I do want to say hi to everybody. My name is Ian. This is Starship Adventures, and we do this kind of coverage every night at 9 p.m. We cover whatever's going on, whether it be volcanoes erupting, or launches, or manhunts, or pursuits, or if it's science, if it's news, if it's crazy, we cover it. And so this is what we do here. If you guys would like, I would love for you to go check out our other channel. We actually have 2 channels, guys. The other channel is called Starship After Dark. And what's really cool about Starship After Dark is Starship After Dark is a channel that's designed basically to be a static channel, an unhosted channel. And what I do on that channel is I put a lot of different content on there. I do ham radio stuff on there, like I'll broadcast SSTV, I'll broadcast scanner feeds, I'll broadcast all kinds of different things on there. However, one of the other things we do is cover things like the war and trackers and things like that. Well, right now over there, I got 2 different videos running, and both of these videos are they're running simultaneously, and they're both showing real-time data and information, sights and sounds, basically from Israel. And as well as they both have the alerting system, and the one does the aircraft tracking. So if you guys could, I'd appreciate if you guys could go over there and tonight when you're done, go over there and throw it a thumbs up and a like, and just view for a couple of minutes before you head out. Remember, if you go in and do a thumbs up and go right back out, you actually hurt me. Remember, it's viewing time that's most important. So just hang out for 5 minutes. If you're going to go take a shower, just put it on and leave it on. It helps more than you know. Oh, there you go. It was my video on the 5RM. You know, Baofeng sent me that radio. And I told them, I said, guys, I don't want to review this radio yet. And they're like, why? And I'm like, because Chirp can't program it yet. And they're like, no, we want you to review it anyway. And I'm like, well, I'm going to have to be honest in the review that it's a great radio, but you have to program it manually with the provided software. You can't use the chirp, which is cut and paste friendly. And they're like, we don't care. We just want you to go ahead and do it. So I did the review, and I was honest. I'm like, look, other than you can't program it with chirp, it's a great little radio. I like that. I actually gave that one to Carlotta. She has that radio right now because I bought these. I like these big fat ones that I've been buying, the UV25, the UV32, and I also bought the 880, which is the little brother to that 980 or whatever you got. Yes, the backup channel, the one with the aircraft tracker is running on my Linux machine. The other one is running on a Windows 10 machine. The launch is nowhere. The video for the launch does not come on until 12:05, which is another 13 minutes. This is the website we use. If you guys aren't aware of it, this is what we use here to look up the launches. And this one was supposed to go up at 11:19, but yet the video says it doesn't start till 12:05. Yeah, the 5RM is a good radio, no doubt about it. It's literally the it is the evolution of radio because it started with the UV5R, and that's literally the two redesigns of the UV5R later. Well, because neighbor Linux runs so much better than Windows, I'm eventually going to convert them all to Linux. I'm still learning how to use it. But I put this Linux up for a test about 2 months ago before I went on vacation and all that. I put this Linux up broadcasting the ham clock, which resets every 10 minutes, and it shows all the different statuses of everything that's going on in the world. And I got that, and I put it up, and I started playing my music on there. And I let it run, and it ran for 41 days until the power went out. My Windows machines, just so you guys know, they'll only run about 48 hours doing a broadcast task before I have to literally shut them down and restart them. Yeah, I think Chirp works. I think there's even an Apple version too. I think it works everywhere. Chirp is a great piece of software, and it's free. Well, neighbor, that is my biggest problem with Linux as well. I'm trying to install 2 or 3 different things in it right now. And everything goes well, and all of a sudden, I dead end into a command line. And every time I dead into a command line, I have to call somebody that knows what they're doing. I don't like computers that want me to memorize things and type them in. If it wasn't for that, if the UI for Linux was better, I would have been Linux 10 years ago. I love Linux. Yeah, Linux will run literally 50 times longer than a Windows machine before it crashes. And I'm not exaggerating. We had a Linux-based machine. It was actually Unix, but it's the same thing, at my dispatch center back in the 90s. And that thing ran for over a year and a half before it had to be rebooted. So these things are amazing. Windows shit has to be reset almost on a steady basis. And so I'm wanting to switch this entire studio over to Linux, but it scares me to death because every time I try to do anything with Linux, I'm given a command line, and I have no idea what to type in there. I don't like Linux the way the buttons are all in different places. With Windows, when a window pops up, to get out of that window, it's generally always in the lower right-hand corner. Linux is not like that. It can be in the upper right, the upper left, the lower. It's a lot less standardized than Windows. That's one of the few things I dislike about it. It doesn't do thumbnails as well. There's little things that just don't seem to work as well in Linux. But overall, the actual operating system is much, much better. And there's no bloatware, and there's no forced updates. So it's actually really good. Oh, well, neighbor, I had no idea that you got into Linux. Yeah, there's no bloatware. That's correct. That's one reason I love it. Yep. Yeah, Windows is terrible. First thing I do is when I get a Windows machine is I disable all of the updating, and it'll still try to update. This thing right now is probably in the background downloading stuff. I have a file. There's a file in your computer under your Windows folder called Software Distribution. If you go in there, my computer goes in and deletes everything out of that folder twice a day. And I have the Windows Microsoft servers firewalled with the Microsoft firewall. And I've got the program that runs the update shut down and scrammed. I've got everything turned off. I've got updates disabled. I've done everything you can do, and it still tries to update. It still tries to update. I freaking hate Windows for that. Oh, Golden Eagle, I'm so sorry to hear that. I was just talking last night about people that get left behind. And I'm warning people when it comes to AI, don't get left behind. Figure this AI stuff out. Go get your Google AI Studio set up and start learning how to use computers to build things that help you. And learn AI. Learn how to write prompts. Learn what works. Learn what programs are out there, because all of this stuff is going to help you in the future. Yeah, I mean, I actually have mine now to where it cannot update. Now, about once a week, I come out and it's been restarted. And what that was it was a failed update attempt. I even have it set to where it won't restart to update, and it won't restart after an update, and it still restarts. Yes, no, I completely agree, neighbor. But here's the thing. Microsoft, when you sign the thing, when it comes up and says, do you agree with the Microsoft terms and use? When you say yes, you're agreeing to, you want to know what you're agreeing to? It kind of sucks. You're agreeing to the fact that you don't own that software, that they own that software. And that they have the right to update it whenever they want. And they have the right to go in there and check it out. And they have the right to do whatever they want with it. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. But you actually sign a thing, you agree to a thing that says that this software that you're buying is really not yours. That's crazy. Well, they're trying that right now, neighbor. In Windows 11, you have to get an account with Microsoft. There is a workaround. There is a workaround. You just put in there, I don't want a Microsoft account, Windows 11, what do I do? And it will tell you what to do. Is T-minus 18? All right, I'll hang for that. I'm watching, I've got the main window up here and I'm watching it. I've also got up several views for you guys there. Let me go ahead and get this set up. I'm going to go ahead and kill this one. And huh. There we go. There we go, you guys. But if you guys would do me a favor while we're waiting here for just a minute, and while I'm already coming up to the end of my third hour here, if you guys could go over to my other channel there and give it a sub, I'd appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me, and you guys can check it out whenever you get a chance. But stop by there either now or later and just give the channel a sub, and check it out. You might you might actually like it. I mean, it's good stuff, you know. I do like MMSS TV. You can actually watch the SSTV images coming in on 20 meters. I also do the 7.2, which basically just plays the 7.2, and you can watch the waterfall and everything. Well, listen, Golden Eagle, before you go buy a computer, go on Amazon and look at their reconditioned computers. I mean, you can buy a reconditioned Windows 10 machine for under $100. They're right at $100 with like a Ryzen 5 in it. I mean, it's a decent computer. These new computers they're selling now with Windows 11 and all that, you're better off with a Windows 10 machine that's been refurbished or whatever. Oh God, more of that. I generally don't like any of the new features that come on phones. I fought this Bixby button for the longest time. I actually got rid of a phone because it had an extra button on there that would bring up this Bixby app. And every time I pulled that phone up, my finger would hit that button and it would pull up the Bixby app. And I was just getting ready to get rid of the phone. I was getting ready to buy another phone and everything else. And someone at work says, give me your phone. Let me look at it. And I hand it to them, and they go inside my case. They take the case off the phone, and they cut the piece off behind the button in the case. And they put the case back on. They go, that's how I fixed mine. Now the button doesn't go in far enough to press the button. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But that's just an example of all the stupid shit they put in these phones now. Some people like the stuff, some people don't. I wish things were opt-in instead of opt-out. I don't like when I get an update. Like, I just got an update on this phone, right? This is my old phone because the new one quit. I get an update on this phone. Now the updates come in, and guess what? There's a new home screen now. I got an Android update. It was a forced update. I never authorized it. It was a completely forced update. And now every time, I can't get it to do it now because you have to let it sit for a few minutes. But every time I pull my phone up and I hit the button, I now have a page that comes up with all kinds of bullshit on it. And that page doesn't swipe. I have to literally work with my phone now to get the screen to come on. And it's got me so upset now that I'm buying another phone. So, and it was from an Android update. An Android update, and it's ruined my phone to where I hate it now. I can't stand it. Yeah, you build a computer and you'll always build them. I've been building them since the 90s. I love building computers. I built the Linux machine, and I also built the big machine that we're on right now. Yeah, this one's a Ryzen 9, and it is a super computer. Well, they have as many apps as you put on there, but there is some they won't let you get rid of, and again, that's another problem I have. I don't think you should. I shouldn't have 20 apps on my phone that I can't delete off my phone. They're my apps and they're my phone. I should be able to delete them off my phone, but they won't let you. And I'll tell you, the worst bloatware you're going to get is like Verizon or T-Mobile. That the bloatware you get for these cell phone companies is terrible. The first time you buy a phone that doesn't have a carrier's version of Android in it, you're going to be like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool. It doesn't have all that bullshit in it. Yeah, but neighbor, let me caution you. Just switching to a Ryzen 9 is not going to fix the problem. If you want a supercomputer, you need to start with a really good board. Literally, start with the board. If you guys want to build your own computer, I'm gonna real quick here. I'll introduce you to my. Let me introduce you to my little friend. I'm not going to actually go to the screen and all that, but I want you guys to try this. Take this this website right here, right? It's called PC Part Picker. You go in there and you select pick your build. Well, here, I'll tell you what. Let's just do this. You go in here and you select pick your build. Start your build. Now, you go, where do you want to start? You want to start with the CPU? Okay, good. Let's choose the CPU. Okay, what kind of CPU are we looking for? There we go, AMD Ryzen 9. That's the one I want, $675. Boom. So now I've got my board. Now guess what? I got my chip. Everything else now will only offer me something that will work with that chip. And then, so now I need a cooler. It's only going to give me coolers that will work with my chip. And you can do this all the way down. You pick your motherboard. Here's all your motherboards. And guess what? Once you add something, you can eventually, you get your whole computer built. And it gives you a compatibility filter, which, like I said, you can't choose parts that won't work with other parts. That's what's really cool. And then once you get everything picked out, look at this. How easy is that? You just go to the cheapest one and click the buy button. You click the buy button, it brings you right to Amazon, and you press buy. It don't get much easier than that. I would suggest, if you're going to build a computer, use something like PC Part Picker here to get the best price, to make sure you get the best parts, and that all your parts are compatible. Memory's very expensive right now, so is video cards, and that's because they're all being bought up to be made into artificial intelligence. Absolute fact. But that's PC Part Picker. This video was supposed to go live 6 minutes ago. Let me reset it again. Oh, here we go. What are they showing, a slideshow? They used to do anchored coverage. Now it's like, hey, here's a slideshow of like launches from 12 years ago. I'm using an Asus right now, and also there's an Asus in the Linux, but I don't have a hard preference. I've not actually heard a lot of bad about any of the three, so I'd probably be okay with any of them. But I've got an Asus now. I don't even know how to pronounce it exactly, but it's mine's an Asus, and it works great. I love it. Great board. Now we're seeing ads.
People. Starting from the very top of the rocket, we have the payload fairing. The fairing is a protective shell that houses all of the payloads, shielding them from aerodynamic heating.
Stage 1, RP1 load complete.
And good news there. The fairing is a protective shell that houses all of the payloads, shielding them from aerodynamic heating until the vehicle is outside of the Earth's atmosphere. The shape of that fairing contributes to Falcon 9's overall efficiency, helping to reduce aerodynamic drag during ascent. And within that fairing is the payload, which is, of course, the EchoStar 25 spacecraft. And here's a photo from midway through the encapsulation operation, just before the fairing halves were closed in preparation for flight. And now here's a live view of EchoStar 25 housed within the fairing. Now, as you can see, this is a big satellite, roughly the size of a motorhome. Its solar arrays alone span over 100 feet when deployed. Now, once in space, those two fairing halves will separate and fall back to Earth, where they'll be recovered by our recovery vessel, Doug, to be refurbished and reused on future flights. And both halves
named
are
the
flight-proven,
recovery
with
vessel
one half flying
Doug.
for its 8th time, and the other flying for its 27th time tonight. Located right below the fairing is Falcon 9's second stage, which houses a single Merlin vacuum engine, or MVAC. And below that second stage is the black carbon fiber inner stage, where that MVAC engine is housed. Now, the inner stage connects the first and second stages together and contains the pusher mechanism that allows the stages to separate during flight. And right below the inner stage is the first stage, or booster, that is just about fully loaded with 1 million pounds of liquid
Falcon 9
oxygen.
tanks are pressing for strong back retract.
And good call out there. Just about fully loaded with 1 million pounds of liquid oxygen and rocket propellant 1, or RP1. Now, like the fairings, the booster supporting this mission is also flight proven and will be making its 14th flight tonight. Now, the first stage makes up the bottom 2/3 of the vehicle overall and has 9 Merlin M1D engines at the bottom, which generate more than 1.7 million pounds of thrust. Now, about 2.5 minutes ago,
Strong back retract has started.
and there we just heard that call out that the strong back retraction has started. First, we'll be seeing those clamp arms opening around the second stage, and then we'll eventually see the strong back actually retract away from the vehicle. And you can see those clamp arms opening around the very top portion of the second stage there on your screen. Now, with those clamp arms open, we should start to see the strong back begin to retract away from Falcon 9. Now, the strong back is also called out as the TE, and the TE plays a crucial role for any given Falcon mission. It rolls Falcon 9 out to the pad, raises it vertical, and stays connected through the final seconds before liftoff. It also provides fuel, power, telemetry, and command connections between ground systems on the rocket. And there you can see the TE starting to move away from the Falcon vehicle. Coming up in just about 15 seconds, we should be hearing a call out for stage 1 LOX loading completion, which will signify LOX loading being finished up on the Falcon 9 first stage.
Stage 1 LOX load is complete.
And there's that call out. Now, in about 50 seconds, we'll hear an additional call out for the second stage LOX loading completion. And then at that point, Falcon 9 will be fully loaded with 1 million pounds of RP1 and liquid oxygen. Now you can also see those white clouds around the Falcon 9 rocket, and that isn't smoke, that's condensation. As the liquid oxygen warms slightly inside the tanks, some of it boils off, and that gas is vented to manage pressure. And when the vented oxygen hits the warm and humid outside air, it instantly condenses into clouds. In just a few moments, we should be hearing that call out for second stage LOX loading completion.
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
And there's that call out. As a reminder, Falcon 9 is now fully loaded with 1 million pounds of liquid oxygen and RP-1. Now coming up at
Windows
the
ME was
T-minus
one of the
1 minute
worst.
mark, we will hear a call out that Falcon 9 is in startup. And that will mean that the vehicle's flight computers will have taken over the count.
Gas launch closeouts has started.
And there we heard that call out that gas closeout has started, and that refers to venting and closing out gaseous systems, such as topping off tanks and sealing the vents to maintain pressure. We should be hearing that call out for Falcon 9 startup in just a few moments.
One minute.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
And good news there that Falcon 9 is in startup. Now we're just waiting on the LD to give the final go for tonight's mission.
Launch director, go for launch.
And great news there, our launch director is go for tonight's mission. So let's sit back and watch as Falcon launches the EchoStar 25 satellite to space.
T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 15 seconds.
All right, let's light
T-minus
this
10,
thing.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff. Go Falcon, go EchoStar 25.
Vehicle is approaching downrange.
M1D chamber pressures are nominal.
At T plus 30 seconds into flight, Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. And we're currently throttling down the M1D engines on the booster to prepare it for max Q, which is the point of maximum aerodynamic
Power and
stresses.
telemetry nominal.
Which is the point of maximum aerodynamic stresses on the vehicle. Now, max Q is reached when the air density of the atmosphere decreases faster than the increasing speed of the rocket.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
We should be hearing that call out for max Q in just a few moments from now.
Max Q.
And there's that call out for max Q. Now from here on, even though velocity is rapidly increasing, the atmospheric density is decreasing, resulting in lesser dynamic loads on Falcon 9. Now next up, we're going to have several events happening in quick succession, starting with MECO, followed by stage separation, then second engine start, or SES-1, and finally...
I'm back, chill.
And good news there. And finally, fairing deploy. Main engine cutoff, or MECO, is where all 9 Merlin 1D engines will shut down to slow the vehicle down in preparation for stage separation, where the first stage will separate from the second stage. Then the MVAC engine on the second stage will light, which will be called out as second engine start 1, or SES-1. Now this engine burn lasting several minutes will propel the second stage and our payload to orbit. After that, the fairings will jettison from the second stage, as they're no longer needed to protect the payload once it's in space. Now we should be hearing the start of the sequence of events in just about 10 seconds from now.
Miko.
Stage separation confirmed.
I'm back, startup.
And there you heard and saw those first three events that happened back to back, which were main engine cutoff, and then stage separation, and finally second engine start 1. Now this first burn of the MVAC engine is set to last about 5.5 minutes. And coming up in just a few moments, we'll see the deployment of the payload fairings.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And there you heard confirmation of fairing deploy. Now both of the fairing halves will fall back to Earth and make soft water landings and then be recovered by our recovery vessel, Doug. Now the next major milestone coming up will be the entry burn on our Falcon 9 first stage, which is scheduled to occur just past the T plus 6.5 minute mark. Now the entry burn is used to slow the vehicle stage down as it heads towards our drone ship, a short fall of gravitas in the Atlantic Ocean. Now tonight, Falcon 9 is performing 2 burns in order to land. The first burn, known as the entry burn, slows the vehicle down before hitting the denser parts of the Earth's atmosphere. And without this burn, we'd only be using the atmospheric drag to slow down Falcon 9, which would add extra stress to the vehicle. Now following that entry burn, the booster will then a short while later...
Have a good night, Heath. I'm signing off as soon as we get this thing into orbit.
Trajectories.
Good news there.
Thank you for being here.
Following that entry burn, the booster will then a short while later
should be raining there
landing
soon.
burn, which will slow the vehicle down
Although
even further.
it's not looking as impressive as it was earlier.
Falcon 9 is also equipped with 4 hypersonic titanium grid fins positioned near the top of the first stage that help steer it as it returns to Earth. And you may also see white puffs from time to time coming off the booster, and that is cold nitrogen gas, which also helps with attitude control. And we've got an amazing view of the payload there on your screen right now. Now, as a reminder, the Falcon 9 booster, not currently on your screen, but the booster supporting tonight's mission is flying for its 14th time, having previously supported NASA Crew 9, FROM 2, GPS 3-7, 3 commercial missions, and 7 separate Starlink missions. Now we're just about 45 seconds away from that, about a minute and a half away from that entry burn of the Falcon 9 first stage, and we're continuing to get amazing views of the MVAC engine on the second stage, as well as our EchoStar 25 payload. Now, when Falcon 9 fires up the center M1D engine for re-entry, the vehicle will be flying through Merlin's exhaust gases, also known as the rocket's plume, which deposits a layer of soot on the vehicle surface. And you'll see these marks across the flight-proven Falcon 9 first stage fleet. That soot comes from the carbon-based fuel that Falcon 9 uses, and with each flight, the soot builds up a little more on the outside skin of the rocket. We're just under 30 seconds away from the start of the entry burn of the Falcon 9 first stage.
Stage 1 FTSS safed.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And there's that confirmation of the entry burn.
Yes, they're going to re-land the first stage. That's what you're seeing on the left.
As the engines did on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. Now this
They're
burn will
land
last
it
for
in
about
the
30
ocean
seconds,
on
and again is slowing down the vehicle in preparation for its final burn and landing before touchdown on our drone ship, a short fall of gravitas.
Stage 1 entry burn shutdown.
The left
and
side
there's
is
conclusion
the
of the entry
returning
burn
rocket.
on the
The
Falcon 9
right
first
side
stage.
on that
Now, as
shot
I mentioned
is the
earlier,
one
we will
still
be
going
attempting
up.
to recover this booster with our drone ship, a short fall of gravitas, currently stationed in the Atlantic Ocean.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
And good news there that stage 2 is in terminal guidance. Now, the next major milestone coming up in just about 30 seconds from now will be second engine cutoff 1, or SECO 1, indicating shutdown of the MVAC engine on the second stage. And this will be completion of the first of 2 burns by the MVAC engine to get the vehicle into the proper orbit for payload deployment. We should be hearing that call.
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
And the good news there, we should be hearing that call out for SECO 1 in just a few
Stage 1
moments.
transonic.
And Seco.
MVAC shutdown.
And there we got confirmation of SECO 1 of the MVAC engine on the second stage.
Nominal orbit insertion.
And there's our confirmation of good orbit.
Nominal orbit insertion. That's what
Now
you're
coming
waiting
up in
for.
just a few moments, we should be hearing that. And there's that landing burn of the
Stage
Falcon
1
9
landing burn startup.
first stage.
Here
Now,
we
as that
go.
burn
We're
happens,
landing
we'll
the
see
left side. We're
increasing
landing
speed
on
and
the
altitude
barge.
of the vehicle.
This shit amazes
Stage
me.
1 landing leg deploy.
Done. Just like that.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And fantastic news there, as you saw and heard, successful first stage landing of our Falcon 9 booster. Now, as a reminder, this booster flew for its 14th time tonight. Now, while the booster has completed its part of the mission, payload deployment is
14
expected
missions.
at around the T
That
plus
thing has
32
pushed
and a half minute mark.
payload
and before
into
that,
space
the MVAC engine on the second
14
stage will execute a second burn starting at around
Isn't
T
that
plus
crazy?
26 and a half minutes. So we're going to
Yeah,
take
no
a
problem,
short break, and we'll be
dispatch. I
back
love
for the
doing
next
it.
burn in about 15 minutes.
I just get tired because I'm an old man. All right, well, there you go. I don't know if that music's copyrighted, so but that's the end of it there. We've got orbital insertion on with the spacecraft. We've got main engine shutdown, and we also have a successful landing of the first stage on the barge. So there you go, a successful mission. They'll be within a few hours. They will deploy this payload into space, and then return the rest of this ship to be reused again. Yeah, it's amazing. All right, everybody. Have a good night out there. You saw it here. It happened here. That's all I got to say. There you go. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you later. This is the Sights and Sounds of Earth. My name's Ian. We'll see you tomorrow night, which is actually tonight now because it's again after midnight. We'll see you later tonight at 9 o'clock for the Sights and Sounds of Earth, broadcasting live from North Fort Myers on YouTube, the largest broadcast platform in the world, and broadcasting from my personal studios, Starship Studios. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next time. 7-3s, 7-3s.
Listen up, patriots from the mountains to the shore. This is a story of a man who settled the score. Donald Trump, the warrior, standing tall against the red, fighting communism's grip, keeping freedom ahead. He took a bullet for us, fist raised in the fight. Liberals hate him fierce, cause he's always right. Successful and strong, handling storms like a boss, kicking socialism's tail. America's gained their loss. He raised that mighty wall, 400 miles of steel, kept the invaders out, made the border real. 7 million jobs blooming like fields in the spring. Unemployment crushed low, hear the workers sing. Tax cuts for the folks, no more chains on your pay, tips and overtime free, lighten up the way, energy flowing razor blade, Genesis mission launching. Cancer's getting slayed, trade deals locked tight, tariffs hitting them square. No more endless wars, peace filling the air. Syria chains broken, freedom ringing out loud. Global alliance is strong, making tyrants bow. Western shield solid, security's the key. No room for socialists in this land of the free. Oh, no, Donald Trump crushing the communist snake, making America great. For heaven's sake, he took a bullet for freedom, stood up from the dirt. Liberals see and squirm cause it hurts. He's right, he's winning, handling every blow. From riots to fraud, putting on the show. God bless the USA, land of the brave and true. Trump's our guardian, red, white, and blue. In Minnesota, shadows, fraud running deep and wide. Somali scheme stealing billions, no place to hide. Tampon Tim dancing blind, letting crooks run the game, but Trump's calling them out, lighting justice's flame. Fake meals for ghosts, daycare doors bolted shut, healthcare highs bleeding us. Enough's enough, protests gone wild, anti-law fools in the street, banging pipes like cowards, facing defeat. You better snag that Nobel for peace, he's the man, bringing freedom worldwide, crushing tyrants' plan. From Iran's dark storms to borders under siege, Trump's kicking tail, hard turning page after page. Liberals despise him, cause he's spot on and bold, successful as thunder, breaking their hold, handling every curveball from fraud to the fight. Patriot hate thunder, lighting up the night. Dems crumbling fast, losing the working man's trust. High prices tumbling, their dreams turn to dust. Genesis health reforms, chronic ills on the run. Toxic dyes banished, victories one by one. No kings, hypocrites, cheering dictators' chains. Gays back in Hamas, twisted insane. Trump exposes the right, makes them look like the fools, fighting socialism's grip with unbreakable tools. Oh, Donald Trump crushing the communist snake, making America great. For heaven's sake, he took a bullet for freedom, stood up from the dirt. Liberals see then squirm cause it hurts. He's right, he's winning, handling every blow. From riots to fraud, putting on the show. God bless the USA, land of the brave and true. Trump's our guardian, red, white, and blue. Yeah, red, white, and blue. Forever true.
Oh, make America great, like Trump always said. Pro-conservative values from heart to head. Anti-terror, anti-commie, anti-lunacy too. Pro-America, pro-flag, red, white, and true. Standing strong with Israel, hand in hand we fight for freedom and faith under God's own light. Terror's got no place in this world we defend. With our allies in Israel, brothers to the end. Oh, make America great, like Trump always said. Pro-conservative values from heart to head. Anti-terror, anti-commie, anti-lunacy too. Pro-America, pro-flag, red, white, and true. Standing strong with Israel, hand in hand we fight. For freedom and faith under God's own light. Saddam's regime crumbled, we brought the light of day. No more hiding in shadows, we paved freedom's way. Trump knew the deal with walls and bold calls. Kept the radicals running, built those embassy walls. Our bond with Israel, unbreakable chain against Hamas and hatred. We weather the rain, oh make America great, like Trump always said. Pro-conservative values from heart to head. Anti-terror, anti-commie, anti-lunacy too. Pro-America, pro-flag, red, white, and true. Standing strong with Israel, hand in hand we fight. For freedom and faith under God's own light. No room for the socialists spinning their lies, or the crazies dividing with their wild-eyed cries. We honor our heroes, the ones who gave all for family, for country, answering the call. Trump led the charge with grit and with grace, keeping our nation in its rightful place. From Baghdad to Jerusalem, the eagle soars high, with stars on our banner, touching the sky. We'll never back down, no surrender in sight. Pro-Trump, pro-values, we'll win this fight. It'll make America great, like Trump always said. Pro-conservative values from heart to head. Anti-terror, anti-commie, anti-lunacy too. Pro-America, pro-flag, red, white, and true. Standing strong with Israel, hand in hand we fight. For freedom and faith, forever in sight.
All right, everybody, it's that time. I'm heading to bed. This is Starship Adventures, and this does conclude our broadcast day. Thank you, everybody, for being here and being a loyal fan of the station and a supporter of my work. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the 33 of you that hang out at night to listen to me do the final sign-off. I think that's pretty cool. I do. I want you to know that. I think that's special. I do. All right, guys. Have a good night out there. We will see you later on today, this evening, at 9 o'clock Eastern Time, right here for the Sights and Sounds of Earth on Starship Adventures. It's been fun tonight, guys. We'll do it again next time. KO4 EFS. Signing off. QSY. 7-3s, everybody. Good night, America. Good night, the world. We'll see you tomorrow.